typical woman. I called and said, "What are you wearing? Are you wearing?"
Hang on a sec. But yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I learned to stay strong. Concrete in the dirt I was raised on. Know how to put in work. Grinding all day, you know it's game on. My skin is thick, yeah, it's tough. Running, yeah, we stay alive. Ain't gotta look nowhere else. All of this greatness inside.
Episode 7 with Miss Rebbecca Barfield, Dressing Up for Life. That's a good title.
That is a good title. I love it.
Okay, now, the reason I don't like talking before the show is that was a great conversation.
Yeah, it was.
You were trying to color coordinate with me.
You know, I was.
Pull that just a little bit closer to you.
Yeah.
We want them to hear that full voice.
Okay. Yeah, typical woman. I did text him and say, what color are you wearing?
And what was my response?
Are we color coordinating?
Then what was my next response?
I think it was.
I have it on my phone.
I'm wearing what I'm wearing. What I'm wearing.
No, I said that wouldn't be authentically.
Yeah,
I said color coordinating ?
Yeah.
That wouldn't be authentically raw.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
Oh my gosh.
That is a typical woman thing to do, though. I mean, because I didn't,
It is a typical woman thing for your personality.
Yes, absolutely.
So Rebbecca Barfield, look at us. We dive right in. That's what I love about her. She, for all clarity and everything, I do know her. She is a business partner in a business that we have. She has a clothing business. She has done nursing. She has done home care, employee retention, employee termination, progressive discipline, and dealt with failures and successes. And who knows where this conversation is going to go.
Yeah.
But welcome. Thank you so much for being all about the grind.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, we got to start doing that together or something. You know what we should do? We should do a seal clap. I mean, seriously, come on, real quick.
Well, thank you for having me.
What's your favorite color?
Yellow.
What's your favorite shoe?
My favorite shoe?
Yeah.
Probably a boot.
Car or truck?
Truck.
Woods or snow?
Woods.
Technically, you could say you could have both.
Woods during the snow is best.
See, that's what I would have said.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know, though. I don't like the cold.
Not at all. You're a Florida girl.
I am a Florida
born
girl.
and bred.
I am, yes. Well, I wasn't born in Florida. I was born in Kentucky. But I've been here since I was 9. So, military brat. But
So then your brother, husband, and you moved down here?
yeah.
Just the two of y'all?
And my cousin. Too funny.
Just the two? Y'all. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, gosh. You know what? Poor Kentucky gets such a bad rap. But
Do they, though?
yeah, they do.
Do they?
Well,
I have family in Kentucky.
yeah.
Now, what part of Kentucky, though? Let's get technical.
Louisville.
Louisville.
Yeah, I was born.
How do you say it?
Well, it's
Dave, how do you say it?
Louisville.
that's an incorrect.
Look at her. She
Yeah,
just pulled that a little bit closer. Just say tech.
Yeah, it's Louisville.
You see that little?
Louisville.
That's that stern. Don't do that, Dave.
It's a Louisville slugger, not a Louisville slugger.
Okay, say it again.
Louisville.
Louisville. But what about the S?
It's you don't pronounce it.
Okay. Pause.
It's spelled Louisville, but nobody. I mean, if you're a native, nobody pronounce it Louisville. It's Louisville.
Well, 75% of them can't read.
No, that's not.
Okay. In all fairness.
And they're married to their cousin.
Yes. In all fairness, one of my favorite cousins is from Kentucky. He now lives in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And a dear one. So it's always fun.
Kentucky
is beautiful country.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Did you live outside of Louisville?
Well, you got to remember, I was in first grade. So we lived downtown Louisville, and I went to first grade in
Okay, so
Louisville.
you were just there for a short time.
Very short time, yeah. Anywhere we lived was for a very short time. When you're in the military, my dad was in for like 25 years.
What branch?
Coast Guard. And we always lived on islands. I remember growing up.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was really cool. And setting lobster traps and things like that when we lived in.
At what age?
Oh, well.
I mean, that you remember.
He was in the military when I was born.
I mean, the crab traps and all.
Oh yeah, I was like 7, 8. We lived in Connecticut and
On an island?
On an island, yeah, called
Do you know that area up there?
Connecticut, no.
Okay,
not
give
much.
us the name of the town.
Fisher's Island.
Yeah.
And it was so cool. And my best memories when I was a kid, I lived there.
Well, what were they?
Just going, Dad putting traps out with the lobsters. And I'll never forget my mom was in the kitchen and she had this big pot, and I'm an animal lover. So you guys know
No. We'll get to all that. And Bella and all the beasts.
Yes. But even as a child, I remember my dad would bring home the lobsters and my mom would be standing in the kitchen with this big pot and boiling water and the lobsters would be alive and she was fixing to drop them down into this boiling water. And I remember just being like screaming, "Don't do that! You're gonna kill them? Why are you doing that?" So they didn't do it in front of me after that because I just freaked out.
Okay, hang on a second. So Dave, now hit camera video, and that should put us on the small part.
Yeah.
And show so you and I can turn around and look. It's okay.
Yeah.
So is that the Fisher Island, New York, right there?
Yes.
So it really was like an island just sticking out.
Hang on, because I don't know much up there. I'm looking. Can you back out just a little bit, Dave? Yeah, right there, the minus sign. Over to your right in the middle.
I'm looking.
Go up, go down, right there.
Yeah, technically.
There you go.
Yeah,
one more, right there. Hold right there.
I said Connecticut, but technically it's New York.
New York. That's okay. Listen, I thought mine was Mississippi and it was Alabama.
Yeah.
In my childhood, it was my earliest childhood memory. We were being babysat. Keep that up for a second.
Okay.
Well, you can pull up just camera only, but we'll go back to that in a second. Yeah. We're learning how to bounce back and forth. It's good, and it's getting better.
Yeah,
I'm very proud. It's the grind, baby.
I know.
We didn't know how to hook this stuff up 6 weeks ago.
Well,
no kidding.
Episode 7, you're doing pretty good.
Well, I am bouncing around a little bit, but I'll get back to it. Your son, Brandon, was a big part of this.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So we've given him a shout out before.
Yeah.
It'll be absolutely tonight,
yes.
but they'll probably be coming again.
Oh, yeah.
I'm probably going to get a little picture of him and put him on the, nobody will know who he is.
Yeah, but we'll know.
What's his favorite superhero? Let's tell on him a little bit.
My favorite superhero.
This will get him on here. Watch.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, Deadpool.
Deadpool. Okay, so
that
listen.
makes sense.
So here's what I want.
I
want him in a
Deadpool.
Deadpool outfit. Right? With
So
all
we
the
gotta
gear.
Photoshop it.
No,
We're gonna get him actually in the
she
Deadpool?
wants me in Grinch.
True.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I want my Deadpool. So we're not going to be able to. But see, this is going to have to hand off at the same time. It's not going to happen.
I think there's going to have to be money exchanged in hands.
No,
here.
listen. No, because hang on. So he gets in the Deadpool outfit, and I get a picture, and then we'll just put it back here.
Oh,
Or when we have him on the show, he sits in Deadpool and you sit in the Grinch, and we're good.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Free. I would die, man. Listen. I don't like things all around my face.
Yeah.
In any which way or form. I just want to be clear about
you mean
that.
like with a mask?
Oh,
yeah. Oh, God.
No,
yeah.
I want to be very clear. I don't
Yeah.
like anything around my face.
Right.
That would be masks, nuts.
Okay.
Any pie.
Right.
I'm not a facial touch guy. I don't like my face touched.
Okay.
At all.
You know what? I'm not even going to go there. I was going to say.
Oh, you can
something.
go there.
No,
It's okay.
I don't want to go
Yeah.
there. No.
Okay.
We're gonna be a lady today.
No, not by the end of this. You
For
won't.
the beginning of this.
That's just. Let's see. We're gonna be a lady today.
Yeah.
Tag that time.
We'll remind you of that in about an hour.
That's right.
Oh,
What
my
time are we in
goodness.
on this right here? Tell me real
God.
quick.
We are at 9 minutes.
9 minutes. Okay, we're just 9 minutes in, and she's a lady. It's
Yeah.
sort of like drinking.
Yeah.
Once you take the first cup and then the second,
Yeah.
no, you are a lady, and you are a lady in many ways, but we don't want to get to there yet. So Kentucky moved to Florida from there.
No, we moved to Connecticut from there.
Okay, I'm a
and then-
knucklehead, so go back to Connecticut or New York, right?
Yeah.
New York.
This was my favorite childhood memories in Fisher's Island because they had like bunkers, from like World War II, and me and my brothers and sisters, we would go down and play in the bunkers. And
Okay, Dave.
yeah, they had like ammunition and I mean it was crazy back then because we would leave the house at
70s, 80s.
Yeah, 70s.
late 70s.
Yeah. I would tell him my age now.
Nah.
But back then we would leave the house at 8 after breakfast, and we wouldn't show back up till dinner time, and
So
we would just explore.
Is that
and
rocky? Is that shoreline like rocky and has high cliffs and everything?
Absolutely. Yeah.
People down here don't realize, like, up there, you just go out in the woods and you just walk up and down hills, through the streams, everything.
Yeah.
Well, we do. I mean, ours are just, down here, it's more
Swamp.
swamp and straw.
And you got snakes and gators up there. You can pretty much feel safe. You're going to get a deer running by you, maybe a bear, but...
Apple orchards, that's one thing I did. I've been in Florida since I was 9, but I remember the apple orchards, and I remember...
Sweeter?
They were like little crab apples. And I remember climbing the trees and eating them. And I remember I've never been so sick.
Yeah, crab apples are not good.
Oh God!
No.
Me and my friends were throwing them at this old lady's house, and I broke her window, and I had to. Me and my sister were scared, because we had to go home and tell. I was like, I'm not telling Dad. And she said, you got to tell him. He's going to find out, because everybody on the island knew my dad. And I said, I don't want to tell him. And so I ended up telling him. And he took me to the old lady's house and made me knock on her door. And we thought she was a witch. And I had to tell her, I broke your window, and what can I do to make it up? And she said, well, you can pick apples. So I had to pick apples like all day the next day. And we ended up taking it to her, and she made us an apple pie. It was really cool.
Tell me that's not missing in today's society.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
But it's also done. I mean, I actually took one of my sons to a father's house and a daughter's house, and it was when they were first being able to pass pictures.
Yeah.
And he had passed no pictures, but he didn't say no either. And it wasn't a nude picture. And then this was like young, and they had the slide phone and everything. It was just starting. And she had sent a picture with her in a bra, and he didn't stop it, but he didn't say he liked it either. I mean, I read the whole text. Mm-hmm. So then this father calls me, and he's just going off about me and my son, and I knew nothing. That's how I found out about it. So I called Zach in there. Of course, I'm embarrassed. He's scared to death because he's a young man, and I read this thing, and I'm like, okay. And so I called the gentleman back. I said, we're going to be over at your house in about 10 minutes. And it was near our house. So as we're driving, I'm telling Zach, I said, I hope he knocks you out. I said, you had an opportunity to tell that young lady, I don't need that. Thank you so much. And in reality, if you know this young man, he doesn't need that. Even back then, he didn't.
Right.
But he was trying to figure out life at 12. I mean, this was like early, 11, 12 years old.
Yeah.
And I took him over to this guy's house. Now, the guy was a doofus. He didn't know how to handle it. I literally sat at the counter, and I'm facing the kitchen, and the table's right. Now, I can see him, but the table's right there. Zach's sitting he's sitting with his back to me, and I can see Zach. Zach's on the other side of the table. And Bam puts his hands like this, stares that man dead in the eyes, and that man begins to go off. And I sit there. Now, the idiot goes way too freaking far.
Of course.
I mean, I gave him authority to be a father, and then you give mercy. So just like my Father, my Heavenly Father, gives me mercy. That's what keeps me moving. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, why would I live, man? You want to go look up my past? Please. That's what this journey's about. He didn't do that. So I finally had to get involved. No, I didn't. I wasn't very forceful. I was in his house. And you know what was interesting? He didn't one time call his daughter out. Like, come sit down. He didn't call her out. He did not give her any responsibility in the whole action in any which way or form.
Right.
He was that dad that would go beat up a guy. Shut up. First off, Bam's a wrestler, and he would put you in a chokehold. Even at 12, that kid was...
And your daughter's sending pictures of herself.
My son didn't send a picture.
In a bra. I would have had a conversation with my daughter about that.
If you're taking a picture in a bra, that's not your first time taking a picture in a bra.
Absolutely.
No. It reminds me of the high school kid that you had a problem with at the gas station, that the father did absolutely nothing
Holy mackerel. Yeah.
That was crazy.
Almost said his name because I want to be authentically raw. I got to get an attorney on the staff here. I got one I'm talking to because I want to know what I can and can't say legally. So allegedly, but actually I have video of this. So this guy, I actually used to coach him in baseball. We'll get into that story some other time.
All right.
That's good. So a little sidetrack there. I like that. So you are we in Florida yet?
Yeah, at 9 years old.
9 years old, you're in Florida.
Yeah,
In Jacksonville?
in Jacksonville.
You came straight to Jacksonville. So
Yeah.
he was in NAS?
NAS, Cecil Field and NAS. Yeah, when we got here, 103rd Street was a two-lane. And then on both sides it was like horse fields and barns, and 103rd Street did not look like what it
Just
looks like
a little
now.
different now.
Just a little different now. Yeah,
Yeah.
back then it was 1978 when we got here, and we lived on in a little neighborhood off of 103rd. So I grew up on the west side. I'm a local girl.
So you remember the snow?
I do. Yes, I do. 1987, I think it was. Yes, I do. I remember sliding. As a matter of fact, I had met my husband now, Patrick, and he came and picked me up, and we went to IHOP on 103rd Street, and the cars were just sliding, and we were too, and we're Floridians. We don't know how to drive in snow.
The hell we don't. I was on Powers Avenue holding on to a bumper
Yeah.
while
Bumper
while Kevin Irwin was driving, man.
That's how we used to get around town up north.
Okay, I didn't know that. We had snow, baby.
I used to just grab someone's bumper and go around town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while we're
Were
talking,
you on like
Your boots.
okay, and you were just sliding on the snow?
Or we would, if we knew the person, we would tie a rope to a ladder, and we'd have about 6 of us sitting on the ladder.
Yeah.
all right, that's funny.
Well, I absolutely went out and did an angel in the snow. You got to remember,
Pull up, but Dave. While we're talking, pull up. What year was it? It was
1987.
It was 1987. So pull up 1987 snowstorm, Jacksonville, Florida.
87, 88. Yeah.
No, it was 89, Dave.
Was it 89?
Hang on. Did I graduate high school yet? Just put Jacksonville snowstorm. It'll come up.
Yeah. I know it was somewhere around that time because I think Pat and I hadn't known each other long. When
Yeah.
About 80. Yeah, because 87, 88. Yeah.
Was it right
yeah.
at Christmas?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was at Christmas
So
time.
switch to downsize us and hit play.
You know what? My son has never seen snow. He's
Never?
Never. He's 33 years old. We actually took a trip.
Brandon.
Yes, and
Man.
a few years ago, and I took him to Asheville, North Carolina to see the I always wanted to see the Biltmore, and we went up there, and it was, I thought, well, surely it's going to snow at Christmas time in Asheville. It was the hottest winter on record, and it never snowed. Now they had the fake snow, that they blow out, and at the ski lodges and everything, but no, he's never seen snow.
I mean, now you're talking about my neck of the woods, Asheville, North Carolina.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Now, I'm a Florida girl. I don't like the cold. I do not like the cold.
But you like
but
dressing up for the cold. I mean, I've seen your clothes back there.
Oh, now I've got a wardrobe of leather and suede. I love dressing.
Rabbit.
Yes. A fur coat. Absolutely. But
That's New York.
But I don't like being cold.
Yeah.
I don't mind dressing up and walking out and showing everybody my beautiful fur coat, but I don't actually want to stay out there in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't worry about it, Dave.
But anyway, yeah. So he didn't get a chance to see snow. So that's. I don't think he'd like it though.
No.
No. Well, I don't know. Brandon might like it. He likes the cold.
Were
He
you
likes
busy?
it.
Did you work a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he
Well, you
was
had
growing-
to, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I worked a lot.
So
when he was
you
growing up.
got down here. You graduated high school,
Yeah, from Forest.
Forest.
Yeah.
Okay. Did y'all have
What
good
is it now?
It's
West
called
Side?
West Side High School
Yeah.
now. Yeah, they changed it a few years ago.
Yeah. Is it? Were y'all good in any sports? Did you get to enjoy?
I was not a sports girl, no.
So you didn't go watch them. You didn't hang out with them. What were you doing then?
No.
Riding horses or
I was.
home working?
Yeah.
I pictured you as a cheerleader.
Oh, no. No, really?
I would have never pegged her as a cheerleader.
No.
She'll
no.
punch him square in the mouth.
No, I was not a cheerleader. No, not
She's
at all.
she is not a rule abider. She walks to the beat of her own drum. I don't see that.
Yeah. I skipped school most of the time.
You were having fun?
I was having fun. I had the coolest car.
Bunch of girls
A bunch
or
of girls.
a guy?
Yeah, no, it was girls. It was girls. I had actually bought my own car. My dad wouldn't buy me a car, so I had to get a job and I was like 16. I worked at a video store back when, y'all remember?
Oh, yeah.
This was pre-Blockbuster Video.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it was called Video Magic, and I worked there.
All the mom and pop video stores.
Oh, it was awesome. And, people would come in and how at Blockbuster, how they had the boxes.
Oh,
and
I worked there for a couple of years.
I miss that. Going in and reading the
The
back
Friday
of the,
night.
Yeah, Saturday night. Let's
Hoping your
go.
movie was there.
Yes.
I was always early.
Calling them, can you reserve this? And reading the back of the box and going, ooh, that one sounds good. Let's try that one.
Okay, so while y'all are doing that, me and one other guy have our hand on the last movie, and we're both looking at each other going,
know.
I was here first. No, I was here first. No, I had it here first. And then
Yeah.
we're all going to the drop-in where people were dropping stuff in, trying to see what just
Yeah,
came in.
yeah,
Oh, wait, there's one right there. Can you grab that one?
You know what's so funny? But my son and his age group will never know that.
Yeah.
They'll never know
They know
that.
Redbox.
They'll know Redbox.
Okay, but
but
they'll-
not even Redbox. But it's not the same feel as walking into the store.
Okay, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Because in reality, though, there's going to be things that they will be talking to their kids about that they
Yeah.
won't. You actually held your phone in your hand, Dad?
Right.
You had to hold it
True.
up to your ear? Oh,
know.
my God.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
like the cord on ours.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always going to be microwaves nowadays and the way food's processed. I mean, there's so much things that are going to change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you hear Elon Musk? I mean, he's talking like in 5 years that there'll be so many robots doing human jobs
Yeah.
that there'll be internationally, a high percentage of unemployment.
Well, they already have some robots at like McDonald's and stuff making the burgers and
Well, they're taking an
doing
order.
everything.
Taking an order has been 7-8 years now since they started talking about the higher wages. But these we're now on fourth generation robots. I'm no robot expert, but I watch these stupid videos and the things these guys can do. When you got to make sure you're watching the right place. But there'll be scientists, and these jokers will literally do flips off the back of a box.
it's going to be like the movie I, Robot with Will Smith.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, my favorite, I like Will Smith, but my favorite movie, it's on my top 10 list.
So did P. Diddy.
Is,
Sorry.
I do. Oh, my God. But Bicentennial Man with
Yeah.
Robin Williams. Have you ever seen that movie?
I don't remember it.
Oh, you would remember. You've seen it, Dave.
Well, help,
yeah.
refresh my memory.
Robin Williams is he's a robot, and his family buys him, but
What
he's
years
a-
were this?
he's a different kind of robot. He learns how to have feelings and
I have seen this.
oh, it's amazing. I
But
love
I'm
this
not.
movie.
Yeah, I'm the guy that can watch a movie and then 2 years later it's like I've never seen it and I can watch it again.
Oh no,
I love it.
No, once I've seen it, I know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm not big on that. But I mean, it sounds familiar.
Now I don't mind watching it again.
Don't worry about it.
There it
There's
is. There's your description.
yes, Bicentennial Man.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to go home and search that then because that does not look familiar.
Oh, it's so you would love it. He's on a journey to become human.
One of the greatest actors.
I know. Oh,
Let me tell you, you have to be careful with people that are funny.
yeah,
I mean, how many comedians are really depressed?
yeah.
A lot. They just hide it well.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, what a loss.
I mean, what a loss.
What a loss.
My favorite movie with him was Patch Adams.
I loved Patch.
I believe he was MENSA. Search that to make sure I'm accurate. You don't have to throw it up or anything. Just make sure I'm accurate.
Now, Patch, was that where he was the doctor?
Yep.
I loved that. Yeah,
Yeah. Good Will Hunting. I mean,
Goodwill Hunting.
Yeah.
that was just, of course, a classic movie.
Yes.
Are you a movie buff?
Well, I worked in a video store.
Okay, that's
remember
true.
when I
Okay.
was 16. But
Music or movies?
both. I'm a big.
You got to pick one. You can't have one. You're only going to have one of them
Oh,
for the rest
God.
of your life.
Music.
You want to dance.
I love music.
I want to dance with somebody.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I love
Yeah,
music.
I want to. Dave, you're not jumping in with me. Hey,
I know.
with somebody.
Oh.
I'm not
But
the
I don't
singer.
know. I grew up watching, because I worked in the videos. It was my job to watch the movie. So
Were
when
you-
people come in, they were like, "Is this good or is
They
this
paid
not?"
you to watch movies?
Well, yeah. I got to bring them home, and I had to watch. That was part of the job of working in a video store. You had to watch the movie.
Were you there for the dudes, or were you there for did you just really enjoy movies?
Or
the action? I mean, just the movement and the motion and all that.
Oh yeah, I love a good movie. As a matter of fact, I was trying to watch. I fell asleep, but we were watching Venom last night, part 3.
Really?
I love Venom.
So, are you a horror movie lover?
I love horror movies.
Okay,
yes.
is that your favorite genre?
Oh goodness.
My favorite word ever. Just want to let y'all know genre.
Genre. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Brighton from Episcopal High School.
Yeah.
She used that word for the first time, and I looked up and I said, "That's a sexy word."
It is a sexy word.
Yeah. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry, I'm a red.
A vignette. That's
Ooh, I do like that word
It is
in the furniture business.
Yeah,
so
it's a little vignette.
yeah, sorry, got sidetracked. So I missed sexy.
Yes, Robin Williams was Mensa.
I knew it.
Yeah.
So he was Mensa. Yeah, we're going back up.
Yeah.
So this guy is Mensa.
Who's Mensa?
Mensa is
Very high IQ.
Yeah, I'm guessing you're not Mensa.
I'm not. I guess not.
If you don't know what it is,
Hey,
you're
what
pretty
there?
much not
What
there.
that there is Mensa.
Hey, I'm from Kentucky.
Who is it?
Well, I did
Oh, I
not know
freaking love you.
what I did not know what Mensa meant.
That's
so
okay.
I guess I'm not Mensa.
Okay, I'm not Mensa. I can't tell you what it stands for. I
Yeah.
just can act like I can fake it a little bit.
Yeah. Is that
So-
like an IQ higher than like 160?
Like 200, I believe.
Yeah.
Dave. And so
I did not know Robin Williams was.
absolutely. He
Mensa.
was so brilliant. And I mean, from the time he was a child, and I love documentaries. And so
Right.
I've watched a bunch of documentaries on him because I'm always, you know, my life a little bit, and it'll come out a little bit tonight. But that's the beauty of this whole process is I think every episode, the more of my guests come out, more of me comes out, more of Dave comes out. And
Yeah.
it's a journey, and it's a lot of fun. And so Robin has always interested me.
Yeah.
Not because of suicide or anything like that, but what would make a guy or a girl believe that this is my best option?
Yeah.
He had everything the world could say you could want.
You know what, though? Here's something, because I watch a lot of documentaries, too. He had just got diagnosed with a pretty severe brain disorder, something along the lines of Alzheimer's, but worse.
They look that up.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly.
Well, hang on, go ahead.
Mensa, there's a couple different IQ levels. Like there's one called the Westchester. There's a different
Keep the mic
couple
near you.
levels. But in order to be Mensa, you have to be in the top 98%
So
of the IQ levels.
That's amazing.
I don't even know what the highest IQs are, but I'm gonna say close to 200 and above.
Yeah. Well, I know over 160 is, brilliant.
I'm not brilliant.
No, me neither.
No, I push furniture around.
Yeah.
I climbed the roofs. I dug ditches.
Yeah.
I cleaned
clothes.
bathrooms.
I buy clothes.
Yeah. You rewound movies.
Yes, I did.
Were you the please kind be rewind?
Yes.
Let me tell you,
Be
the
kind,
fights
please,
that
Ryan.
happened in the video stores because of you trying to charge someone to rewind their videos.
Oh, we absolutely charged if you
Holy
didn't
cow!
rewind
People
your.
got so upset.
Oh yeah, if you didn't rewind your movies, I would charge you $1. Absolutely, because then I had to go put it in the VCR and rewind.
Because it was so hard for us.
Yes. Listen,
It was an upsell. Let's be real.
Especially after he made the rewinding machines.
Yeah, it was an upsell. I watched them jokers slide. They had like 4 of them. You
Yep.
slide them in.
Yeah. Oh God,
30 seconds later, the thing's done.
Yep.
I remember because Brandon was little and we had this VCR, and back then we paid like $500.
I know.
For like a Fisher. We
I
had
know. I didn't have a fancy VCR.
We had the up top of the line, and it was like $500. But I remember Lion King had just come out, and Brandon both of us loved the Lion King. But he was little, and he'd put it in the morning, and he'd watch it, and then he'd hit rewind, and then rewind it, and then watch it again, and then hit rewind and watch it again. And there were days where I would watch Lion King 4 or 5 times that day. So I know I know Lion King.
There's a new one. There's a new one coming out.
Yeah,
that is-
Mufasa.
It's animated, isn't it?
Live action.
Yeah.
Live action.
Yes.
That'll be interesting.
I loved it.
I'm not much of an animated movie guy.
You're not a
No.
Disney guy either.
No, I'm not a
No.
Disney guy.
No.
It's a small world. It ruined me.
Yeah.
No, it's not fun. I think I got one of my first kisses were there.
Yeah.
No, my first kiss was Alabama. We were being babysat,
Yeah.
and
Your babysitter? kissed you?
I'm not done yet, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So me and my brother are in the closet with our babysitters. We're not in the same house as my parents because we're being babysat. And we were in Tornado Alley, and a tornado came through. And it ripped off the top of some of the complex that we lived in. I don't know, I was a kid. But all I remember was being in this dark closet, and we had pillows, and Bart was over there, and him and the girl kissed. And I was like, well, I mean, you know. So then me and the girl kissed, and
this was a great babysitter.
she wasn't that much older than me. I mean, I was like, let's see, I was 8, and she was probably 10, 11.
Babysitting you at 10 or 11?
Man, we're talking about the 70s.
Yeah, that's true.
You just put a kid with a kid.
You can trust people in the house back then.
I babysitted at 10.
Yeah,
I
so
sure
I mean,
did,
we're not talking about like a 17-year-old and an 8-year-old. We were literally, you know, and Bart was 2 years older than me, so he was, you know, 9, and they were probably 11, 12. I mean, he's, or, you know, something like that. I don't remember. I just remember I got a kiss, and I was like, wow.
Do you remember her name?
Heck no.
No.
Couldn't tell you what she looked like.
See,
You remember your first kiss's name?
I do.
So do I.
I absolutely
Really?
do. Yeah.
Okay, but now I was young. So do I remember my real first? No, I don't. I remember some girls I kissed, but I don't remember like my first kiss. I don't remember moments.
Yeah.
I remember when I first saw Dawn Marie. I remember where she was. She was downtown at First Baptist. It was a big old church. I remember following her, like stalking her, because we were 300 of us were in like college and career, and there was a whole crew that actually hung out and actually did things at church. I just came from the bar Saturday night. I knew there were cute girls at church, and I didn't mind hearing about God a little bit. So I'd sit way up in the balcony, but I started going to college and career, and it changed my life. There was 300 people in there, and there was a lot of cute girls. And we would go out to eat afterwards. I didn't know anybody. And I'm living on Phillips Highway, you know, Suntree Mobile Homes, a little shout out. And I would tell stupid jokes in my awkward way that I am. And there would be literally there would be 40 people sitting at the table. Nobody's laughing. And there's this one chick at the back that has this particular laugh. And I couldn't even see her, but I just kept hearing her laugh.
Yeah.
It was Dawn.
It was Dawn Marie. Yeah. And to this day, we'll be sitting in a crowd, and I'll tell a story or a joke, and other than my work wife over here, they won't laugh.
Do you remember what she was wearing?
I remember it was short. It showed her thighs, and she had a great walk. It made that thing sway. And I couldn't see her face, and it was a blonde, and I dated brunettes my whole life, and it was a blonde, and I was just following her. I was following her buttocks. I'm 6'3", and so I can just see her and her group of girls were together. And then I went downstairs another way, and I was on the other side of the street, and she was standing by herself waiting on somebody. It was her boyfriend. He screwed up. Yeah. So he was at college and wasn't keeping his eye on it. So whoop, you know. So I didn't know she had a boyfriend. Well, they had broken up supposedly because he was going to college, and there were no cell phones back then. And so I walked across the street on Ashley, whatever First Baptist was on. I went across the street and introduced myself, and we started talking. And I'd never dated a girl with blue eyes, and hers are like crystal blue. And I'm just like, she's actually talking to me. And I had a 1972 Ford F100, 3-speed on the column with glass packs. I'm a West Side boy, right? Ricker Road. Yeah. And I traded that in because of Dawn Marie. I knew if I was going to go after her,
it wasn't going to be in that car.
So now I'm poor. Now I live on Phillips Highway. I'm digging ditches, man. I got no life, got no money, got no family money, and I went and traded that in for a. Oh my gosh, I can see it and I can't say it. Honda had the sunroof. Anyways, it's silver. I got it. It'll come to me in a second. So anyways, it was a little sporty car, but it wasn't a sports car, and it was within my price range, but it didn't have air conditioning.
Oh, no. So
ask Dawn Marie. So we would ride to church with my sunroof and everything, and your back would be sweating by the time you got downtown in the summer. What was the name? Prelude. Honda Prelude.
Oh, I remember
Honda Prelude.
Kind of the squared back on it.
Oh,
yes.
It was no. They started sleeking it a little bit or something. I don't remember. It's been so long, but I love that little car, man. That was fun.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Honda Prelude. That was my first car. I mean, that F100. Those tires were living on Fix-A-Flat, man. I had no money, and no. That was part of the grind. It was fun. I actually had a house speaker in the F100, and it was only an 8-track. And when I bought the truck, they gave me all the Waylands and all the old time country, and I would just sit that thing in the 8-track and just pop that thing in, and now here I am with a mullet. That thing just was popping all over the place. I mean, and when you hit it, I mean the motor, that F100 was strong, and it would just, my father-in-law would punch me, but he's a Chevy guy. I don't care. That thing would just raise up on you, and I love that truck. I miss that.
My first car was a Pontiac Firebird.
You too, huh?
Yeah.
You spoiled rich kids.
Oh no.
No, that's right. You bought yours.
I bought mine. I had to work at the video store, and I remember I was still riding the bus to school. I was in high school, and I would ride the bus, and there was this, used car lot on the right hand side on 103rd Street. Joe Blow, and I would drive, and I seen the car, and I was like, I want that car. So I went home. I told my dad. I said, Dad, I want this car. And I was 16,
Oh.
And I was, I had gotten my driver's license. And so he took me down there. And, my dad was so cool. He was such a cool guy. And so he called the guy that owned the place out. And he said, this is how much it is. And he said, we need $800 down. And so I worked for 8 weeks, making $100 a week. And I saved my money every week. And I went up there and put it down, and I drove off the lot with that Firebird. I love that car.
At 16?
At 16, yeah. I wish I had that car now. I always, it was like you got to remember it was the 70s. So
that's the black one with the gold. I mean,
no.
That was they were
my
Trans
aunt had one.
Ams.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That was a
I'm
Trans
not a car guy.
Am,
Okay.
but I wanted to get as close to the Trans Am as I could because, come on, Smoking the Bandit was all over the place.
Oh my gosh,
love Smoking the Bandit, yeah. But I loved that car, and it was probably the worst thing that happened to me because I was too cool to go to school. So I would just go pick my girlfriends up, and we would just go hang out, And I skipped school. Most of my high school career was not in high school. I remember one time I skipped.
Go ahead and turn that on silent. That's your phone.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fixing to stop.
No, grab it real quick.
Yeah.
She can't reach.
Well, get up. You're all right. It's only live.
It's only live, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Here, I'll turn the volume down.
Put it on silent.
I've been getting a lot of spam calls lately.
They have that one, the donotcall.gov, I think it is.
Really? Yeah.
Look it up real quick, Dave. Do not call .com or .gov. And I put mine in. They say it lasts for 5 years, but I put it in on a regular. I go in at least once a year and put my phone number in. Mm-hmm. I have not put my stores in, but it'll minimize it.
Yeah.
And there's actually a asterisk or something on the iPhone. On the iPhone, there's a trick to minimize that.
I don't have an iPhone.
Oh, that's right.
I'm poor white trash.
You are not poor white trash.
I have a Samsung.
Okay, no, you just refuse to adjust.
He keeps telling me, you need an iPhone.
Well,
iPhone.
no, listen, I was not an iPhone lover, and I'm not an iPhone lover. I hate that they dumb me down.
Yeah.
I was an Android. I was a BlackBerry guy.
Yeah.
And I held on to that Palm BlackBerry for so long after the smartphones.
Yeah.
He wouldn't get rid of the BlackBerry.
Right.
For a long time, even when I started working at Woodview.
Yeah. And it's when videos and everything were coming out and you were being able to send them. Well, my BlackBerry wouldn't receive them as well. So I finally I tried the new BlackBerry Slide or whatever it was. It didn't work. And I went to an Android, and I was an Android guy forever. My oldest is an Android guy because of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here's the thing. So then I got into roofing, and my videos were not uploading on YouTube with a higher quality.
Right.
So what happens is, like, especially you with social media, as big as this is nowadays in business, the quality of your video is important. And so the iPhone was giving me, you get punished for having an Android. Mm-hmm. Like the iPhone, like when you upload, it punishes you. It doesn't use your highest quality off your phone. Mm-hmm. and I'm not real smart. You can look it up and they'll explain it better.
Right.
But so I went to the iPhone. All of a sudden, all the quality of my pictures and my phone and everything.
Better.
Yeah. So if you are in business and you use a lot of social media, we'll ask Jamie Smith as well next time. He was on here earlier episode, but the iPhone actually does give you a lot more.
Yeah.
Now, Google, their phone also does the same. Dave, that's not doing that on the screen though, right?
No.
Okay, good. Just make sure.
Well, see, this is why I hire somebody to do all of my social media, so I don't have to do it.
Well, that's smart because you have enough to do.
I do.
Okay, but before we get into your clothing love and obsession, I would call it, but whatever. I'm glad you're obsessed. Oh, I'm glad you're obsessed. You're obsessed with that. You're obsessed with decorations.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into that in a minute. Nursing.
Yeah.
Did you go get a license? Were you licensed, or how did you get in that world? So you're at Blockbuster. Where do you go?
Right.
You go to college? Do you know? Forget that.
Well,
Because college isn't. I mean, that's not all be all.
Right. No, actually, I quit high school in my 12th year, my 12th grade, because my father was ill. He had cirrhosis of the liver, and he was dying, and I couldn't go to school and stay home and help take care of my dad. So I ended up quitting my 12th grade year. And so I went back later, several years later, got my GED, and then I went to CNA school, and I was a CNA for about 2.5-3 years.
Okay, help us knuckleheads. Where does all that? I don't understand the difference between CNA and a nurse.
Right. So you've got certified nursing assistant is a CNA, home health aide. They're kind of when you go into the hospital, your CNAs, I think, are always on the front lines.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're the Marines. They're the first ones. They do all the the harder work. I think they're hands-on care with the patients. They're doing the rooms. They're taking them to therapy.
So you worked at a hospital?
I did. Yeah, I got it.
So you get your CNA. You work at a hospital.
Yeah.
You fall in love with it because you are a nurturer.
Yes, I am a nurturer. And the reason why I loved it so much is because my mom was a CNA.
Oh, okay.
She used to take me to the nursing home that she worked in, and I would spend all day with the old people. And for some reason, I've got a magnet for older people, and even to this day. And my husband,
I've seen it.
Yes, it's there. It's there. I don't know what it is, but I'm an old soul, or whatever. We can be in Publix, and an old person will find me and ask me for help. So it's been that way my whole life. So, but I would go in and sit with the old people, and it was so funny because when I didn't go, the old people would look at my mom and say, "Where's Becky?" They all.
How old were you?
Oh God, probably 9.
Okay.
Yeah, I was young.
So she was a nurse from 9 to how old were you when she stopped? Or?
She did that for about 5 years.
Okay,
Mom
so 9
did
of
that.
so your most impressionable years.
Yeah. And I adore even to this day. I have a love for old people.
Yeah.
So
Sounds like your mom had a lot to do with instilling that.
Yeah, she did, and she was really good at what she did, and they loved her too. So she was.
Was she a firm hand or was she a tender heart?
Tender heart?
Yeah, because you need both of those nurses.
Absolutely.
The guy that won't sit still, me. When I get older.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any
What do you
old?
mean when you get older?
Shut up.
A couple of years ago when you were in, yelling about blankets and everything else when he was in there.
We tie this one to the chair.
I don't mind giving blood.
Yeah.
Now, when I worked for the Duval County School Board, I gave over a gallon. Now, I would love to say that it was for great causes, and then I thought about the people that would be using my blood.
But it was for the $20, right?
No, it was for they gave us an hour off work if we would give blood.
Yeah.
Paid. So I was young.
Every time, huh?
Yeah.
Every time. I mean, literally 3 months, and I was there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like bang. Because you could give every
As
3
soon
months.
as your
I
blood's
was.
rejuvenated.
Yeah.
I'm a good bleeder, man. I got good veins. You can hit either side. You don't even have to tie it up. I just squeeze a little bit. So nurses love me. You can
I can
see
tell
it.
you exactly where to go with how much I've been through.
Well, yeah, you've been stuck like a pig.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
But what I don't understand about hospitals is why don't they figure out the bed situation? That is not a comfortable bed, is it?
It's not, but one of the reasons it's not a comfortable bed is because they have that mattresses that blow up and release, so that way people don't get bed sores from sitting in the same position.
Absolutely.
People who can't move in the bed need it to adjust.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if the nurses are doing their job, they're coming in every couple hours and making sure you're not laying in the same position.
Yeah, especially in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
But you see so many horror stories.
Oh yeah.
Were you involved? Not like you involved, but did you all of a sudden you were at a place and there were people that were mishandling?
I'm going to put it this way. I never seen any like real abuse, because obviously
You'd punch them.
I would not tolerate that.
Yeah.
No. I did have to report a lady one time that I saw that was being abusive, and she was released of her job. But I didn't see a whole lot. But this is what you do see, and with like any career, you see people that get into this career and it's not where they need to be.
Yeah.
So I did.
But they've
see-
already got the license. They're already in the job. Why not stay?
They're there, and let's face it, nurses make good money.
Yeah.
And sometimes they are there for the money, and they're not there.
Or the doctor.
Or the doctor, and they're not there for the patient, and that goes with doctors, nurses,
Yeah.
across the spectrum. You know, and I did see a lot of that. You know, I did see it even now, like when my son was in the hospital with diverticulitis, the nurses on the floor were just, I don't know if it's an overall, everybody across the board is more not as nurturing as
They have to. Now, I have never been in this industry. I've not dealt with as much as David has. My opinion, I believe that they have to be so careful about being sued nowadays.
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
sort of like the police.
Yeah.
The police don't come out. Okay, I'm not a cop. What do I know?
Right.
They're less involved in smaller issues than they used to be.
Yeah.
And they have to be much more careful because everybody grabs a camera and starts recording a
Absolutely.
policeman.
I could see that. I
You
could
know,
see that.
I
And
we got
also,
so many watchers that will watch a child get abused in public. I'm not talking about a pop on the leg. I mean, get your ass over here. Man, I'm going to tell you, you want to fire me up? I have followed.
Yeah.
I have followed, and I will follow again. And I will remember when I came back and told you?
Yep.
I crisscrossed a lady in Walmart, and I told that little kid, he was holding his mom's hand because he had to. He was scared to death. This kid's like 5, 6. I said, you hang on, son. I said, there'll be a light at the end of the tunnel. And I looked at that mother. I said, he'll hate you.
Yeah.
She could have cared less. And I kept walking by, and I'd come this way, and I would say something. I would say something. And she got to where it was uncomfortable. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Well, just like there's some women that are people that shouldn't be nursing, and there's some people
Can't stand abuse.
shouldn't be mothers. You know, I mean, come on, there are people out there that should not be mothers, just like there's people should not be nurses.
Now, I'll tell you this. In town, I've had way different experiences depending on what hospital I was in.
Yeah.
Like downtown, I felt like they could care less. Baptist South, amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It may be
I know.
what floor and what doctor you have, what nurses you have. No, because they rotate too, don't
Yeah.
they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like any business that it really flows from the top down.
Yeah.
So you're working at a hospital.
Yeah.
You're a CNA.
Yeah.
How many years did you do that before you started thinking about, wow, I could actually own something? Or did you just stumble into, because I still don't know everything and I didn't want to till we got on the podcast. And I get to find out.
So yeah, I did that, and then I went back to school. I went back to nursing school, and I was doing that, and I got approached by a man in Sarasota, had put an ad in the paper to run a home health agency. And I said, you know what, I think I would like that. Because I started doing home health after I left the hospital. I started working in the home, and I absolutely
Did you have
loved it.
people under you or was it just you?
No, this was just me. I was working for a home health agency.
So you were actually the home health care
I was,
person.
yeah.
But you're
Yes.
about to take over somebody where you have people underneath you. You never had that before.
No.
And you just say, wow, that looks fun.
Yes.
So where did that jump willing to jump and try come from?
Just me. I mean, I didn't.
I mean,
wanna
mom and
stay-
dad did. Well, your mom. When did she get her license? Was she older or was she young?
She was probably in her 30s, maybe early
Okay,
30s.
so you saw a mother
Yeah.
in her 30s change her career, went
Yeah.
from probably a stay-at-home mom
Yeah.
to decided to
Go
get a
into-
career.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mom always worked.
So she
Yeah,
she was wearing a
Mama.
gear. Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, I mean, it was
Mom.
funny.
Yeah,
I'll-
Mom always worked.
All the years I traveled, I'll say it, I'm an idiot. All the years I'm traveled, I'd come home. I'm like, Dawn, I'm like, what? Why are you so tired? You're at home all day. I told her, I said, I'd be watching soap operas. I'd
Oh
be
God, typical man.
a typical, typical
Yeah.
man. I own it 100%.
Yeah.
Guess who does all the vacuuming now?
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
and now you're
Guess who
at
does
home
all the
sweeping
dusting
and
now?
vacuuming and-
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well,
but you know what? The house is empty now, so there's no kids there.
no, I
there's-
did it when they were there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
but you got to remember, I didn't come home. I mean, I was on the road. I mean, there was over 50 plus stores, whatever it came up to. I was on the road from Missouri to Trinidad for, how many years? 365? Probably 310 days a year. I was gone. So I'm home 55 days a year.
Yeah,
55 days a year.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Maybe a little bit more. I might
Yeah.
be
And that was
exaggerating.
just to jump in and out, wasn't it?
Yes, I literally had I left all my clothes at my house at one time, there was not enough. I would have dirty clothes and that I'd drop off, and Don would have my bags packed for another week, 2 weeks, wherever I was going. And I would come home, bring all my dirty stuff, dump it, chase it around the house a little bit, play with the kids, and off I went to wherever. Some days I would have 3 to 5 to 7 days at home from time to time, but then it was like gone
That's
because we were
hard.
going to Brazil a lot, buying furniture,
Yeah.
and it was a lot. I missed anniversaries, I missed birthdays, but somehow I was able to stay in tune with my kids. And I think one thing was we had the Nextels back then. They were always first on the list. If that phone ever rang, I don't care what I was doing, I don't care who I was talking to, they came first.
Yeah.
I would stand up, excuse me, and I'd walk away because I was gone.
Yeah.
And then the video, and it was shortly after I started really traveling, because that was about 89, 90. So about 92, the video started coming on the computer. And so we could video chat. And I would video chat with my boys for hours. Sometimes they'd walk away, and then Dom Reed come up, sort of what the kids do with FaceTime
Yeah,
nowadays.
yeah.
Zach and them, I mean, I have one son in the Air Force, and he's in South Korea right now. And he has a beautiful young lady, Lila, that is, they're getting serious. And so she'll be over with us, and they'll be FaceTiming. They'll just be talking. He'll set it down. Zach will be home. When he's dating somebody, he'll be eating
Just
bowl of
walk
cereal,
by and
cooking
like, hey.
at the worst angles. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, Sydney sits like this, and her nose looks like so freaking huge. I take screenshots. They could care less.
Yeah.
So long distance relationships are tough. Did you
Yeah.
ever go through any?
When I was in high school, I was dating a Navy guy, and he went out on the Saratoga, and we wrote to each other. And
So you're dating an older dude.
he was a couple years older than me. Yeah, yeah. I was 16. I was working at the video store, and he came in one day, and we liked each other, and he was getting ready to deploy. And so we wrote to each other while he was gone, but he came home and dumped me for a girl with tattoos.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why didn't you go get some tattoos? Save your relationship.
I know, right? So that didn't work out.
You
It-
see how quick she got away from that?
Yeah.
I ain't bound to no man. Just say it.
That didn't work out. But I tell you what, I'd never, and now when I see the ships come in, and if the families are there waiting, when those aircraft carriers pull in,
Yeah.
and those Navy guys are all standing
know,
in their
that's
whites,
cool.
it's something to see.
It is something to see.
It is something to see,
it's
and I got
impressive.
to see it at 18, so that was pretty cool. So
So you're CNA. There's an opportunity in Sarasota. You say, I
Yeah.
think I'd like that.
yeah, I met with the owner of the company, and he liked me, I liked him, and
You're young.
I'm 30.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you've never really managed people
It
yet.
was like the year 2000 when I met him. So yeah, I was probably in my 30s, early 30s, and no, I've never done that before. And
So you jump in. Did you? So you moved to Sarasota?
no,
Okay.
he wanted to open a
Oh, I got you.
here in Jacksonville, and
Okay.
I said, and he interviewed like 100 people, candidates in Jacksonville, and he picked me. So that was awesome.
Why do you
And,
think he picked you?
I don't know. We just liked each other. You know, and to this, well, I haven't talked to him in long. I don't know if he's alive or not.
Well, you're
but
pretty easy to talk to.
yeah.
I mean, it shows here.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if she sat down with someone, there'd be a
Well,
good vibe going.
When I first met her, I mean, I didn't know her from Adam, and I mean, she was just very comfortable to talk to.
Lady that brought wreaths in.
Yeah, who knew that she was such a bulldog?
I'm not a bulldog.
You absolutely are a bulldog, but you think it's a bad way. I'm saying it in a good way.
Yeah.
I don't. Who wants a dead horse running beside them?
Yeah.
That means I got to drag you.
Yeah.
You drag me
I
sometimes,
know, right? I know.
especially with these decorations.
Yeah. Oh, I love to decorate.
Who was your mother a big decorator?
No. Mm-mm.
So maybe that's where it came from.
No. Actually, there's a lady named Nita Bruce. She's in a nursing home right now. That taught me how to decorate when I was 18 years old. I went to work for her. She owned a store in Mandarin, and she did flowers and decorating, and she taught me how to make bows. And I worked for her for a couple years, and she taught me how to do all that.
And you
And
fell in love.
I love her. I do. I haven't seen her in a couple years. I need to go see her. But yeah, big shout out to Juanita Bruce. She taught me. Juanita Bruce taught me how to do all that, and she was such a lady.
It's amazing the impact adults have. This is my passion.
Yeah.
I love young people.
Yeah.
And to me, 30 and below is young, but I really love the impressionable years, the 14 to even 22, 23, 20. I love sitting down with my son and his buddies because they're the future. And I mean, you get an opportunity to put input thought that they'll get. I mean, it's just, if you do it the right way, if you always catch somebody doing something wrong, they're never going to listen to you.
Yeah.
It's when you start, for me, it's when I start understanding that they actually have a voice and they have wisdom. My son teaches me so much at 26.
Yeah.
And in reality, at 18, he was teaching me things.
Now, see,
Dave's over there shaking his head.
I'm not so much, which my son, my son's brilliant, and he always teaches me something. But I tend to always lean towards the older crowd more than the younger people. Absolutely.
I can't wait for Brett to get some free time and get back into coaching like he's wanted to.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Brett loves children. I mean, he just lights up like a Christmas tree when a little one comes in. He does.
You haven't seen it like at the Wood U store with the little Nerf balls and stuff.
Oh,
Brett's
yeah,
just throwing balls around
I
the
can
store.
totally see that. Oh, yeah.
We break
Brett-
stuff. Don Marie gets all mad at us. The parents look at me like, oh, it's okay.
It's okay.
Well, you know what
Shrink
it is? That's the football that Bam Bam and Jay Bird and I used to always throw around the house.
Really?
Oh, that brown.
Yep.
They slept with that. That was on Zach and Jake's bed every night. And we would we played tackle football with that thing. So here we are. I mean, it's real wood. The worst thing's going to happen is kids going to get bruised up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, that wood can tackle.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Yeah, it does hurt. So.
But I have older ladies in my family, not my family, but my life. And I call them my steel magnolias. And they are, you've met Kathy Davenport, Andrea Schaefer, Erlene Hill.
Mm.
You've met a few of my friends. And those are kind of my go-to, when I want advice or I want
wisdom or input or just a dump.
Absolutely.
Well, they've lived life.
Yes.
And been very successful at it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They are, I think every woman should have an older group of friends that they can relate to.
Yeah.
And call on. And say, hey, what would you do? And because older ladies are, they're just full of wisdom, And
and they'll just tell it like it is.
They absolutely will tell it like it is.
They're not going to beat around the bush.
Oh no,
because I hang out with some older men.
Yeah.
I have my what I would call mentors.
Yeah.
Both spiritually and business wise. I try to keep. I have a couple that might breed over, but they're really different.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
And then I let my God hybrid it together. It's a pretty cool journey.
Yeah.
Patience. Now, I think you and I are about similar in patience, but yet you hold it a little different.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from? Like, I mean, you have the ability to sit back.
Nursing.
Nursing. That makes sense. That's the difference. I didn't go to nursing school.
That's it.
So I got to go get my CNA.
You gotta.
I'm not going to get my CNA.
No.
I'm not going through that world.
No.
Are you kidding me?
Well, it's you got to have a lot of patience when you're nursing, especially.
Yeah, no.
I
You want me-
was.
I'm just
first
thinking
ass,
about you
the first
looking at-
ass I got to clean, I quit.
I'm
I
looking and thinking
quit.
about Brett taking a bandage off and
Oh my
standing
gosh.
there dry heaving
I
next
was
to
dry
someone.
heave.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not even funny that my family makes so much fun of me. Even dog poop. I try. I got it from my mama. When my mother comes in here one day, she dry. Yes. They have video. My son has videotaped me of it,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
it's not
God.
funny. I mean, because I like have tears in my eyes, like Zach when he was young. He got sick, and you knew the throw up was coming. You know, this was a kid. You could
Yeah.
tell.
Oh,
and
yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm running to the shower, and I didn't have a shirt on. I had some shorts on. I got into the shower, and he heaves on my shoulder. Where he heaves on my shoulder, and I heave on the. He goes, I go. He go, I go. But I was there. I had the shower, trying to hose him off, trying to hose. Oh.
Oh God. No, you would not be a good nurse.
No, and then
No.
blood and no. I mean, I almost cut myself my finger. I mean, somehow I can deal with me, but I mean, someone else. Now, if it was my kids,
Yeah.
then I can
Oh,
deal
it's a
with
completely
it. Yeah,
different
you
story.
just go into
You do
sick.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But like when I was in the hospital, if they were going to change my bandage, he's like, "Wait, gotta go,
I gotta go.
gotta go."
See, I could totally.
No.
You know, nothing like that.
He can't even
phases
look at a
me.
picture.
no,
Yeah.
he lost his toes and all. I tried to get him to be before he lost his other leg. I tried to get him to be a kicker because there was that one kicker in NFL.
Yeah.
Dip-
That had,
Dempsey?
they had no toes. And
Yeah.
they was an athlete. We had a chance there, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could have been your agent.
Well, I most of my nursing career was geriatrics. So I dealt with old people, and just like I had sat in the nursing home with my mom, and I don't know, I'm just drawn to old people.
Did you
for
watch a
some
lot of people
reason.
pass?
Yes.
I mean, were you there as they passed?
I worked for hospice. Yes.
How many years? Ooh, now you got some. I'm very interested in the last minutes of someone's life.
It's I didn't do it long, maybe 6 months.
Do you see a lot more terror or more peace?
Peace.
Really?
Hmm.
You saw more peace with people that were passing than terror.
Well, if the people were coherent and not under the influence of drugs.
See, that's
Yeah.
what I don't know this through humans. I know it through my dog. When I had to put, we had a Rottweiler who 2.5 years old had a tumor. I didn't know there was ways to reverse it at that time. So I went to go have him put down,
Yeah.
and he was young, and they brought him back into me, and they drugged him up so bad,
Yeah.
and it wasn't my dog. And
Yeah.
then they brought him in for me to say goodbye, and I was like,
He's not there.
he's not there.
Yeah,
You could just
yeah.
see he just flopped down, and I get it. you
Yeah.
know.
Hospice is peaceful though.
Well, they usually pump people so full of morphine
Yeah, my dad was.
that they're in a peaceful state, and they're not.
Okay, that makes sense.
They're not, screaming in pain. It's not like in the movies,
Yeah.
where they're laying there and they're looking at you and saying, "I love you and think of me and I'll visit you in the light," and then they close their eyes and they die. That's not how death.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. I've never personally seen anybody die like that. So it's usually they're just heavily medicated, sedated, and they just take their last breath, and then they pass on.
My grandfather, on my dad's side, it was Christmas of I'm 94, a long time ago. But he got sick, went in the hospital, hospice, wasn't going to live long, so we raced down to wherever he was living, middle of Florida, a little bit south, past Orlando and all that, Wildwood, around that area. So we run to the hospital, and there's Grand sitting in the hospital, and he's in the bed and got tubes all in him, and all the family's around him, and I go in, and I touch his hand. I mean, Grand was a wise man. He was a missionary and everything, and so we're talking, and what you probably have done 100 times. To me, it was somewhat new to have someone I loved, and I was younger. I think I was like 24 or 22. So we're talking, or I was talking, and he's not really talking much, and starts leaning up out of the bed, man. I got tears just pouring up, man. He got about that far up out of the bed, and his face is turning red. And I'm like, go, Gran. I love you, man. And he lets out the biggest fart that he's ever let out in his life. And he has a little shit-eating grin on the right side of his face. He wouldn't call it that because he was a godly man. And then he lay back down and lived for quite some time in the hospital. That was not his time. He literally did that for showmanship.
Yeah.
And it was not funny.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it was funny. And he thought it was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah,
and so I was not there when he finally passed.
Yeah.
But he did give me that great memory.
What a character. I've seen a movie before where
The old Gran.
they're all gathered around and the lady's laying there and they're dying and the girls are saying, "Run to the light, mother, run to the light." And she sits up and says, "Get the hell away from me. I want a hamburger. Go get me a hamburger." So yeah, it's so funny. Oh goodness.
So I know I'm jumping back in because you've given me limited time, young lady.
Yeah.
So I have to move a little quicker. I don't like that. Next time, there's no limit you can put on All About the Grind.
We're okay.
I know we're okay. You're gonna roll into it, but I want to get to your business. So you begin to manage people.
I did, yeah.
At 30 some odd years old, how
30.
many people immediately went underneath you?
Well, it took me a year to
learn the business.
So you got to learn it, but I wasn't just. You got to go marketing and you got to get clients, and so
you actually built it.
I built
with
it
him
from the ground up. Yeah, because he had his model in Sarasota. I had to build my model in Jacksonville, and so I had to build it from the ground up. And so I had to go marketing. I had to go.
But he owned the building and all, or did he lease? And
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Right.
Well, he ran the business out of his condo.
Gotcha.
In Sarasota. Not very nice condo.
Right.
But anyway.
Brilliant. No overhead.
Yeah. Oh, he was a brilliant man. He actually owned International Bartending Institute. Before.
Really?
Yep. Yep. And then he sold that. And then he started Caregivers for Seniors. And so that's when I took over in Jacksonville. He's looking for somebody to run Jacksonville. So, and I took over. And
how many years?
17.
And did you grow from more than one location? Or just grew that location?
I grew that location. So I started in Duval, and before I stopped, I was Duval, Clay, St. Johns, and Baker counties. So I ran 4 counties.
And that's nonstop recruiting as
you
well.
had a
isn't it?
lot of people working for you, didn't you?
I did. I had 40, 45, I think, at the end there. Yeah. Yeah, and it's constantly recruiting. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
because home health is a fast turnover, and you're gonna interview 100, you're gonna hire 10, 2 are gonna stay.
Did you use agencies?
I was the agency.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're a good recruiter.
I was a good recruiter. Yeah, I was. I had a good, out of everybody that I hired, I only had one lady that kind of pulled the wool over my eyes. I was a good judge of character. But
You got me beat. I've had more than one.
She got me. She got me good. She ended up stealing the credit card from my client and going to the ATM and drawing out I think it's like $1,000. Because there's you can only draw out so much. And the family called me and said, "Hey, this is happening." So I had to call the police. And this was Jacksonville Beach. So I had to call Jacksonville Beach Police, which is totally separate from Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So I had to call the Jacksonville Police, Jacksonville Beach Police. I had to meet with the detectives. I mean, it was a whole thing. But I ended up the client got her money back, and but we never did find the girl. Never did find her. She disappeared.
Bradenton, Florida.
Right.
Bradenton, Florida. I had a guy that I was training. He's the guy that introduced me to Patron. And like I said, I was at that time, we had so many stores, it was beyond me. I was hanging on sometimes. And so he had some skill sets, but I should have never kept him. So anyways, and here's the reason why. He showed red flags, and I don't ever avoid the red. When you see it, accept it.
Absolutely.
And I did not. I violated that. Yeah. And so I kept him around so I didn't have to go look for somebody else. He had the basic skills. I figured I could manage the weaknesses, and I was wrong. So he ended up taking credit cards that were mailed to the store. He would open an account. He would come into the store after hours, and he would run refunds. Then he would take that credit card and he would go buy art or whatever, and then he would go sell the art.
Right.
And he would flush the money that way.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there on a Sunday, me and Bill Spiegel, shout out to Bill. God bless him and all that. I dragged him from Denver to here to there, but this was one of them. And I'm sitting there with one of our big old WTC legs and 2 spiked bolts, and I'm behind a bookcase, and that man has his key, hand to God, has his key in the door, and he is rattling that door. God was with us that moment, because I would have gone to prison. Because I was 275 and 27, 28 years old, and cock strong. I didn't back up to nothing. And this man's stealing from me, my store that I paid for from the ground up. It took me 4.5 years to. Everybody else took a pay raise. I said, no, just let me open a store. When it pays it off, I'll never ask for a raise. And there you go. And so this man's stealing. So Bill was on one side. I'm on the other, and he's coming up to the door. We'd been watching him, and then we went inside the store. He's rattling the key, and I'm looking over, and I told Bill, no, sorry, back up. Bill was on my side, because I turned, I said, Bill, this is going to get ugly. I said, don't come around this corner if you don't want to see. I said, I'm taking his kneecap, and then wherever I go, because I was pissed. And he did not open that door.
He had the key in, but didn't open it?
He did not. He stopped. He did not see me. I was good at what I do. I mean, I used to arrest the guys. I used to tell them not to play poker with me. And I would arrest. I had one here in town that we were sitting at a table. And I said, remember when I told you not to play poker with me? And the detectives were walking up behind me. I said, I want to introduce you to Detective so-and-so and so-and-so. And I thought you were going to arrest me after he paid me back. And I said, well, you go talk to the judge. Because if you're going to steal,
Yeah.
there's only one guy that got away with it.
Oh,
I ain't going to say his name. He knows.
I can't. Do you can do anything to me, but don't steal from me.
No, I've been hit so many times.
Oh, I can't stand it. Don't steal from me, because it's just you work so hard for what you got, and for somebody just to come up and take it and just not even. I don't know. And then there's people out there that will do that, and this caregiver that I entrusted my client to. She didn't have a hard time stealing $1,000 from that lady.
Some people have no morals.
Well, especially older people, they can really take advantage of them.
And I'm like you. If you see somebody abusing a child in a store, you're going to step in. If I see somebody abusing an older person, I'm absolutely going to step in. Or an animal.
Well, nowadays,
God, please don't ever abuse an animal in front of me, because I'll lose it.
Well, nowadays, you're not going to get in trouble helping with an animal. You let me physically get involved with somebody abusing their child.
Yeah.
And my sister did foster care. God bless people that do foster care.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. She had 2 young men that lived with them, and their mother was of a certain faith, had no care for the kids. So the kids are living at my sister's house. If he has his medicine, he's calm. Mm-hmm. And the mother doesn't believe. The mother's religion doesn't believe in medicine. So the state has taken the kids away from the mother because she's an unfit mom. But she gets to make the decision on whether or not the kid is allowed to take the medicine. So my sis Angel is being called to school all the time because this kid cannot stay. He's grown up in a life. His mother was an addict. He's grown up in a life that most of us don't even understand, and how it impacts children. I mean, from 5, 6 years old, these kids were 5 and 7, I think, trying to figure out how to express themselves in a place of nothing but fear and horror.
Well, the child was probably born with drugs in his system.
No doubt about it. No, he actually. No, I want to be a little careful because I don't remember the whole story, but I'm almost 100% sure. And if not, I'll check with Angel and we'll say something on the next one. But I'm pretty sure that she was. Yeah. And that led to it.
Yep.
And so long story short is they couldn't keep the young man in school because the mother would not allow the kid to take the medicine that would keep him calm and allow him to function with other people.
Right.
Where he is now today, I don't know. It broke my sister. She fought tooth and nail with those schools and with dealing with that for, I don't remember exactly how long, but it was almost a year, if not over a year. Yeah. And that was not her only foster group. And right now she's not doing it. I don't think it's because she's given up. I just think it was. I don't know that I can do that.
I couldn't do it. There's no way.
Raise someone else's children.
Well,
I'm not gonna say I couldn't, Because, man, a child, when there's a child in need, I don't know, man. We say we couldn't. But see, my mom, I remember at the condos at Wilshire, we had this family. Mom always picked up homeless people, and would bring them home. Now, my dad traveled a lot. So my dad would come home. There was these two girls that lived in our house. Next time I see my mom, ask her about it. There was these two girls that lived in our house. I don't even remember their names. They were crazy. They didn't like baths. I remember that. And I hated that my mom spent all her attention on those two girls.
Yeah.
So she would have them up there bathing. The parents, I didn't know this, but they're sleeping out in the car, out in the parking lot. So the neighbors it's a condo. This was the 70s, early 80s. So it was a little different, but still. And they ended up leaving, and the two daughters stayed with us, I want to say almost a year. My mother stayed in contact with them for probably still to this day, knowing her.
That's awesome, though. I mean,
I don't have that in me. I don't think I do. Not with the problems that the other children bring. Because when you get with a brand new, open and raw 5-6-year-old, that you've had the chance to nurture along the way, no means no, yes means yes, and then you get to teach them. But when you get somebody who's gone through all that these young people go through and the horrors, they're dealing with adult situations at 5 and 6 years old.
Yeah.
So and their brain isn't even close to being developed. Their skull hasn't even come close to touching, and they're already figuring out how to lie, how to deceive, so that mommy leaves them alone.
Yeah.
So when she ain't got her drug or when she ain't got her, I can't even imagine.
I couldn't get attached and then give them up.
That's what I was gonna say.
I watched Angel go through it, and that maybe hopefully one day I can get Angel in here and we can sit down and talk about that, because we've never really talked about it. Because she loves deep, and has a love of God that and has wisdom older than her. She's a fun young lady to be around, and a great laugh, just genuine person, and loves people and trying to do her best. Her husband is in the police, in the jails and everything. And I don't know. For me, I can let him go. It's that if I can't get through to him, if you see it's already past that point of the listening skill, I don't know how to bring them back. And coaching was fun because you could find those that really wanted, because unfortunately not every child is really open.
Yeah.
So you had a few children, right?
I have a son. Yeah.
Yeah. So was he more open to like your advice and everything, or was he more a free spirit?
Brandon?
Yeah.
Brandon is a unique child.
I enjoy him. Unique man. He's a man now, Mama. Just to let you know.
That's so funny. He's my baby.
That's still
he's your
Becky's
big
baby.
That's Becky's baby now.
That's my baby.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But
I called her butt face the other day. He's like, hey, no. And I was like, no. I was on all fours. I'm like, don't be kicking me. I said, hang on a second. So that's an endearing term in my family. Go ahead, butt face.
He looked at Brett and he said, careful there.
That's what he said. He said, careful now.
Careful now.
That was funny.
Which is so funny because he's so protective.
Nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Mama deserves to feel protected.
Yeah. He's very protective over his mama.
Yeah.
But he was a very unique. He's still he's a very unique person. And when he was little, he never gave me not 1 minute of trouble.
One.
Not one. I honestly cannot tell
Brandon.
you any time that child. Now, I did spank him, when he was little with a wooden spoon, and I'll never forget it. He grabbed my hands and he said, Mama, don't hit me again. Now, you got to remember, Brandon was big when he was born.
Well, he's a hoss now.
He's a hoss. And so by the time he was 7, he was already, at my nose. And so I was spanking him with a wooden spoon. Typical mom, don't do that. And he grabbed both my hands. And I don't know if he picked me up off the floor or if he just held my hands. He said, Mama, please don't hit me again. I won't do it again, I promise. And I never spanked that child after that.
Some don't need it. Physical punishment. After I learned this, for me, after about 3 or 4, it becomes different.
Yeah.
I had somewhere along the way, someone taught me, don't ever let them see you spank them.
Yeah.
So as a child, Zach wasn't even a year old. And what I would do is I wouldn't spank him to where it would hurt. It would just startle him like a dog. You know how you bite a dog like a mama does? And so it was just, so like he'd be walking away from me, or if I ever popped him, it would be on his diaper. And at the same time the pop comes, the no would come. It'd be like, no. So when he turned around, I never popped him. I just said no. And to a child, and subconsciously, it worked so daggum fast that no for him became no really fast. And it was a lot of fun. And I mean, Zach, he was a handful, man. Not like a bad kid in any way, shape, or form. He was just 90 to nothing from dusk to dawn. He would never sit still. You never got a cuddle out of Bam Bam. Never. I never had him, unless he was sick. We all wanted him when he was sick. I'm sorry, Bam, but it's the truth. When he was sick, he would just lay there, his old cute head on you, and that's when you know. But Jay Bird, he was my cuddler, so I got it at the end. So was Brandon your cuddler?
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. He
All right.
was a cuddler.
So you have, and I'm gonna jump back into your business. So you have 17 years in. No. Oh, we get to talk about you. Go.
I got to take a break, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Go to the restroom. Go. Now we get to talk about her today.
Don't talk about me while I'm gone.
I know. Let's look up all this stuff.
She's still being a lady after an hour and 11 minutes.
I know. Okay. Well, I haven't really pushed her buttons though. We could turn it up a little bit. Nah. I'm having fun with her.
It's 4:59.
Right now?
Mhm.
I'm going to go down and see the St. Augustine lights.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. And then we're going to go back down after Christmas with Jamie and them, Jamie and Greg,
To
go see the lights.
Gotcha. What did you think of the beach last week? The chairs.
I'd been down there before. It was cool. I got some pictures.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
It would be interesting to do it over here.
Yeah.
That would be fun. And I started realizing they're not the only ones that do it.
No, deck to chairs is becoming a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, was it Green Cove? Yeah, Green Cove has a area where different businesses can, because that's what it is. Each one of them is sponsored by a different business.
Really?
Yeah. So they each do their own lights, and they probably pay, and then they have, if people take pictures, you usually have your company banner, right beside it and all, which sort of blows the Christmas vibe. But
Yeah.
it's nice. I'm not
It's different.
yeah, lights to me, I watch fireworks before I walk around lights. It was cold as heck. It was
You
cold.
get that ocean breeze,
And there's-
especially when it's already cold.
Yeah, and there's Sydney. I said, did you bring a jacket? No. Right. No, I thought it was, with a little crop top. And I'm like, I always have an extra jacket. So I'm like, here, take this knucklehead. So I want to get into her, how she goes from that to selling, getting out, whatever, and then into her boutiques and everything.
Okay.
That was funny. Brandon, her baby boy. Brandon, don't tell me. Listen here, Brandon. Don't tell me that you were never in trouble. Right, she's coming. We're on talk. There's no way. I mean, he's a nice guy, but
He had to be in trouble. He got the wooden spoon.
yeah. But even after that, when he said, "Don't spank me,"
Oh,
he had to be put on timeout somewhere. He's not that good.
he's always been good.
He's always been good. Okay,
You're a little biased.
just a tad.
Bad bias.
I thought she was going to have a heart attack 2 weeks ago when he got on a plane.
He's never been on a plane before, and I've never had him on a plane before. And so, as a mom, you always think the worst, and my biggest fear is losing him. So anytime and I want him to have all these adventures, but it's always the plane's going to crash, he's not going to make it, it's going to blow up, the bird's going to fly in the engine, it's not, and so,
That's not really logical, though, is it? I mean, like by this sense. No, listen.
motherhood is not logical.
I don't disagree with that one bit, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that necessarily, unless it prevents them from experiencing life.
I absolutely did not keep him from getting
I
on
don't
that
see that.
plane.
It's
But
funny, though, because I talked to him after he got back. He's like, I never realized. He's like, anytime I'm going more than 4 hours now, it's on a plane.
he loved it. He absolutely loved
well,
it.
I mean,
he was great. He loved it. I don't like to. I mean, I'm scared to death of flying. So,
Really?
I projected. I'm sure throughout his life, I have projected some of my fears, and I think
Of course, we all do.
Parents do that. If I had to go back and do it over again, there were some things that he's probably afraid of that he got from me.
Now, what are you
that
so scared of flying for?
I'm not afraid of flying. I'm afraid of
Dying,
dying,
crashing.
But
I'm
you
afraid
have
of
more of a
crashing.
chance of getting in a car wreck.
That you're talking logical, and that's not logical when you're sitting on an airplane. And also, I'm claustrophobic. I don't like to be closed in anywhere. And I don't know if it's from my childhood. I don't know. I just don't like being in a closed room where I can't get out.
Now, have you flown?
I have flown once, from here to Atlanta, and then Atlanta to San Francisco.
Oh, that's a long flight.
It was a long flight. It was a very long flight. And I took 3 Xanaxes, and it didn't touch me. I was still white knuckling it, the whole flight. And
Fear can be a powerful enemy.
It's a powerful thing to go
It can
through,
also be a
yes.
powerful tool.
Yeah. I haven't learned to use it as a tool yet, so I'm still, even to this day, Patrick wants me to fly to France. I've never been to France, and we've been together 35 years, and I would
Because he's from France.
He's from France. My husband's from France. And I would love to go and see the south of France. I mean, come on, guys. It looks gorgeous. Tuscany, Italy, and Rome. I would
Oui,
love.
oui.
Yeah.
Stupid Americans.
I would love to go see where he's from and the south of France. I would love to go see that. But I'm scared to death to get on that plane.
Man, I'd come back 15 pounds heavier the way they eat.
Well, I don't know. French people are always
Bread,
Can you
carbs.
take?
No, that's Italy.
Can you
I've
get on
never
a
seen a-
boat to go over?
All the pastries in France?
Yes, but you know what?
That's carbs.
Have you ever seen a fat French person?
I've never paid attention.
I've never paid attention, but I know they wear those little goofy swimming underwear.
That they.
Does your husband wear those?
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He might have when he first got here, but I think he's been in the U.S. long enough now. No, he doesn't. It was so funny because we just had friends come over from France, his friends, and his friend, they're called Speedos, by the way.
Thank you.
For those of you who don't know. And in France, that is what a man wears to the beach. It's the Speedo.
Yeah.
The banana hammock.
Yes, absolutely. And it was so funny because we took him, and Pat and his friend Regis are they're in their 60s. And so we took him to the beach in St. Augustine, and Regis is standing there in his Speedo. There's not one man on that beach with a Speedo on. Patrick's standing there with his shorts, come down almost.
You can always spot a Frenchman.
It's so funny. But you know what? He
That's
loved
funny.
it and didn't care.
Yeah.
He absolutly didn't. He loves the United States.
Well, that's the beauty of
Yes.
of culture and difference. I like to have fun.
They love the
Yeah.
U.S. They had a wonderful time here.
If you are really looking for banana hammocks everywhere you look, of all sizes and shapes, Brazil would be a great place to go. I mean, dudes wear G-strings. I don't get it. I mean, they're big guys. I mean, I used to be 305 pounds. So I get to talk. I mean, I was a big guy, and there were guys way bigger than me that would have been in Speedos and running around.
I know.
And it wasn't pretty.
Now, Becky, you can get on a freighter as a passenger and go on a boat over
But
to
it's
France.
like 2 weeks, isn't it, or a month?
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know that I would like being closed up for a month on a boat either.
You know, I actually saw a snippet of a couple that live on cruise ships.
Absolutely.
It was cheaper to live on cruise ships than it was in retirement.
Well, think about it. Nowadays, in retirement, it's about $8,000 a month per person, to live in an assisted living facility. $8,000. Think about that, guys. $8,000 a month, and that's for a not really nice one.
Oh, I know. We're looking into it these days.
Yeah.
Your mom's dealing with illness.
Yeah.
Yep. And we're looking.
And think about your mortgage on an $8,000 a month. That's $1 million, $2 million home.
What I don't understand is why aren't we in uproar about the costs?
Yeah.
Because how y'all. I mean, listen, you have family members that have done well in life, but we're typical blue collar families.
Yeah.
I am. I mean, how do you afford?
You don't. I mean, you
You
at
get
8,000.
Medicaid, and then they put you in the facilities that aren't as nice as the ones that you're going to go
Then
and
you-
pay $5,000, $6,000, $7,000.
Then you get
for.
into a state-run facility that is,
Basically, they come and check on you once a day, and you're sitting there.
it's bad. It's bad, and they're overrun, and the nurses are overworked. There's too many.
And the boomers are just getting started.
It's
We're just getting started.
Yeah, I really do. I hate to see what's coming.
The
I
next
really
20
do.
years,
Yeah, I really do. They're going to have to do something.
they have to, because the cost is going to get. I mean, raw materials in just the furniture business have gone up 65%.
Yeah.
My mortgage is doubled, and
Yeah.
if you're on a variable rate,
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't have a retirement like they used to.
Yeah.
To have that money to go into them.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It-
2008 really wiped out a lot of people's retirement.
Whew.
But you know why we're not in an uproar? Because
It's not us.
no, it's not that. There's so many things that I want to be in an uproar over.
Yep.
And I don't have time to go picket in the street for everything that bothers me. The seniors are paying too much. Our groceries are too much. The food is not healthy. I mean, I could go, if I had no job and no business to run, I would be picketing for so many things. But who has time to go stand in the street with a street sign and say, stop it, stop this?
Only the ones that are paid.
Yeah, yeah. It's either that or we run for we run for a seat.
Let me tell you something. You cannot get into politics and keep your character.
Yeah.
I'll repeat it again. You cannot get into politics, whether it be local or state run or federal, and keep your character. You have to give on your character.
I would beg to differ. If I got into politics and I was to run for state or local or whatever, it would be hard for me to give up my moral character.
The only ones that I've seen to be able to hold their ground a little bit are some of these city officials that you can't get out unless voted. And there's that African American guy. He's up north somewhere. I'll have to find a video for one of the times we're on here and show it. He goes off on these people. He calls them the N-word. They're African American as well, and he'll call them N-word, and they can't do nothing because it's freedom of speech. And he's one of the chair people. And they'll even call a recess, and they'll all leave. And he's loud. He's that's what it sounds like. And you gotta tell me what to do, lady. I'm gonna tell. Just going off and just all in the mic. And I was, oh my gosh.
Yeah, but is he?
He's fighting. No, he's fighting. Supposedly racism and some other things that he feels very strongly about, and is following the laws. That's why they can't touch him.
Right.
It was like the one guy came in, the pastor came in and read one of the books that are in the library nowadays, just word for word, and the chair people are hitting the gavel. Thank you. Are hitting the gavel because the words are so vulgar. It's the P word, it's the V word, it's the F word.
Yeah.
And this is in the elementary library. And so they're telling him, you're out of order. You can't use that language. In legal terms, they're saying it, the whole board. And he's going, wait a minute. My child can get this out of the library. And they kicked him out.
Yep.
Now, I think he might have ended up suing them or what have you, but he was a pastor.
I saw that.
Okay, I absolutely love that.
I did too.
So I don't think we have to pick it. I just think we've got to pick our times when we pick our battles.
Yeah.
We've got a sheriff here locally, Michelle Cook. I hope to have on here one day, and I'm gonna keep saying that because I'm gonna get her on here one day.
Yeah.
Manifestation.
She's awesome. Sheriff.
She is dynamic. We have a female run sheriff's department that is run awesome. I follow her on Facebook. She gives updates. She eats it when she needs to. She explains when she needs to. She's loving and caring, yet she is no joke.
Yeah.
She'll slap handcuffs on you in a
Oh
quickness.
yeah.
And
She's a tiny little thing too.
I've never really met her in person.
Yeah.
I think I've been around in rooms, but I've never really I'm not a chaser or anything.
She goes to the Chamber of Commerce meetings and the Federated Republican Women's group that meets. And
That's right.
She's tiny little thing. But she ain't no joke. She's
No.
an awesome sheriff.
Been a dynamic for Clay County.
Yeah.
I'm really proud to have her, and Clay don't play.
Yeah.
And a lot of my East Side boys know that. Anyways, so you do this for 17 years, and then you are done, or you just get burned out, or you're
I burned out.
burned out,
I did.
and you knew it.
I knew it. I absolutely knew
Did it come gradually, or was it just like bang?
No, it came gradually.
Yeah, it sneaks up on you, doesn't it?
It sneaks up on you, yeah. And, when you're doing that, you're so emotionally involved with your patients and your, I got my caregivers and they're all, well, I did have a few men caregivers, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But you get involved with their life. And my son, I was on my phone for his whole childhood.
Yeah.
I couldn't take him to a movie. We couldn't go sit down and have dinner at a restaurant. Back then, I used to eat in restaurants. But my phone would constantly be ringing. I always said my umbilical cord was attached to my phone. And it was always something. It was always something. And, in a situation like that, this is why I love the boutique so much. If I don't answer the phone, nobody's going to die today.
Yeah.
If I don't make the right decision today, it's not going to impact somebody's life in a bad or a good way. And that's why the boutique is so refreshing for me, is because I don't have all that responsibility on my head.
Did you get right out of that and right into the first boutique that you were involved in?
No, I actually had tried.
Because you made pretty good money.
Oh, I made awesome money.
So when you left, you had put aside some money and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So you had set yourself up decently.
Absolutely.
And you'd made some investments along the way as
Yeah.
a businesswoman.
Yeah,
Houses and property investments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had about 5 houses at one time.
And so so leaving, you weren't worried financially. So that wasn't a concern of yours. You had
No.
made your money. You'd had money set aside. Your house, you already moved into the house you're in now and everything.
Yep.
So that was pretty established. So you're pretty comfortable in that area, and you can cover yourself financially. So it's a pretty exciting move. You don't have a lot of financial worries.
No, I don't. No, I didn't at the time.
So
And,
that helps
yeah.
on the transition.
Absolutely.
So you sit out for a little while. Are you at home? You just
Yeah, I stayed home for 10 years.
10 years.
10
Okay.
years.
And is that when what's his name? Roof. What's your male dominant dog's name? I know what it is. I'm just leading her along.
Boomer?
Yes. I did not know what it is because I thought it was Bella.
No, Bella is the leader of the pack. I have 5
Well, tell the name of your boutique first so they understand.
Right, Be Bella Boutique is the
Yes.
name of the boutique, and I named the boutique after my oldest dog, Bella, which I have 5 golden retrievers.
Female, obviously.
No, they're not all female.
No, I mean Bella.
Bella is a female.
Well,
absolutely.
you don't know that, though. It can't tell you what it identifies as.
No, she absolutely. She's a female.
She may identify as a male.
Yeah. Do you know that the female
Just saying.
female dog in the golden retriever breed, anyway, I've had them for 35 years, they're more domineering than the male. And I think you'll find that in most species.
You think?
Yeah, just a little
Just a
bit.
tad?
Well, let's put it this way. There are 2 males in the group, and she's the pack leader. And it's interesting to watch the dynamics of the 5 dogs because, a lot of people have...
Did you get them all at once?
No.
Okay.
No.
You bred these?
I have bred this particular group. I've had Goldens for 35 years.
Okay.
So I always had and their lifespan is 10 to 12 years. So I've had actually 3 sets of Goldens. Yeah,
Do you have 5 every time?
No.
Okay.
I normally only have 2.
So how'd you
Goldens.
end up with 5?
Because this last set.
You just couldn't say no.
No, they got pregnant.
They had a litter, and you
Right.
decided
And you
to
just
keep
couldn't
some.
say no.
Well, it was an accident. I wasn't expecting.
That's what
that.
she said.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to happen. Boomer. It was Boomer's
Bella's like,
fault. I don't. Oh God. And yeah. So
Boomer and Bella.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boomer and Buffy.
Boomer and Buffy.
Boomer
Are they
and
all
Buffy.
bees?
Yes.
Okay, so name them all, please.
There's
Hang on. Wait a second. Okay, go ahead.
Boomer,
Boomer.
Bella,
That's my dad's nickname.
Buffy,
Bella. No, not Bella. That's not what Boomer is. Boomer, Bella, Buffy,
Blue,
Blue.
and Bulldozer.
Which one will bite you?
Buffy.
Now, see, I was going to go with Bulldozer.
Oh no, Dozer. No.
So hang on.
Dozer.
Buffy's going to
Which
bite.
one didn't like you when you went to the house?
Which one did like me?
Blue.
Blue. they were all barking because I was out there with Mama and they were on the other side of the fence. You know what you need to do?
But you know what? He liked Blue because Blue's got this big meathead.
Yes.
He's a gorgeous golden
I mean,
retriever.
once I got in the back, I mean, dogs and me.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you know
Boxers.
Dave. You know Dave. Go ahead.
Boxers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brett's the dog whisperer.
Oh, sure.
Not
yeah.
that day.
Not.
Yeah, you are.
You realize,
Not that day.
ma'am, you realize that I've done
Oh, yeah.
deliveries for
I do.
decades of furniture and other.
I have heard this story.
Well,
yes.
they haven't. So we're going to go over it just for a
Okay,
second. There's Mr. Dave. I wish I had a camera on him here shortly. We're going to have multiple cameras and we'll be able to pop Dave on there in a second. And Brandon will help us set it all up, please. So we're doing a delivery. We got a big would you box truck and we
were in your truck. We were in your pickup.
No, we were not.
Yeah.
Because you jumped up in the box truck.
I jumped in the back seat of the truck and closed the door.
You peckerhead.
He knew
I thought
what
it was a box
coming.
truck. I don't remember. Okay, so this lady, sweet lady, looked something like you, was
Oh,
sitting there holding her dog. I'm lying, Dave, one finger.
With one finger.
And I always go up to find out where the furniture's going first, make sure there's not stuff in the way, all that good stuff. And so I didn't go up inside her house because the dog was sitting right there barking and just, coming at lunch. I mean, he's 20 feet away from me at the porch, and I'm standing near the truck. And I said, ma'am, do you mind putting the dog up? Oh, he's fine. He's fine. What you all say. I said, ma'am, if you don't mind, please put the dog up, and then we'll come in.
Mm-hmm.
And so she walked away for a second. Well, I didn't know. She let him out the back. Well, he doesn't have a fence.
Oh boy.
So this thing, she doesn't know it. She's now talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's coming because I could just tell. You can just feel the vibe.
Yeah.
And this sucker runs around the house, comes back up to me, not Dave, because Dave
Is in the
saw-
back of the truck.
Well,
Yes,
because
I was.
I'm talking to the lady. I don't see the dog. I
Right.
think it, but then it goes. So I'm chit-chatting with the lady. Next thing I know, dog's coming up on me. I've got a chair. I guess I had a thing for table legs, Dave. We got Bradenton now because it has the bolts.
Well, we were delivering her kitchen table.
I know. So I had a table leg
Yep.
in my hand. This boxer is lunging at me. She doesn't have a hold of him.
Right.
I've stood my ground now, and I watch Dog Whisperer, so I know a little bit about dogs. And I've had enough attack happen in deliveries. I've dealt with it enough. So I'm standing there. I got the the leg this way. The screws are sitting up. I'm just gonna, and I'm sitting
Oh
here.
no.
Ma'am, this dog is lunging, and as he's lunging, my midsection is having to go back as he snaps because I can't move.
Right.
Because I tried to move back and give him a little space. You don't move back on a raging dog.
Right.
Because they feel like they've won, and then they get even more dominant.
Aggressive,
So I
yeah.
took a half a step back. It didn't work, and I tried to gain my space again.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be the dog whisperer,
Right.
and this dog begins to lunge at me.
Yeah.
The whole time I'm literally doing this back and forth, and I asked, ma'am, will you please get your dog? And I'm within.
He was about to swing.
I was about to swing. I'm about to get, this dog is, ravaging. It's not just like,
Right.
rah, rah. He's lunging at me. For some reason, he was afraid of me because I was holding my ground the best I could. I didn't, but I got a little look there early on, and there's Dave I thought it was a box truck, but there's Dave in a truck with the door shut. I don't even think it was shut all the way. And he had, I remember you had a knee on a seat.
Yeah.
And you were sort of looking back like
Yeah.
this. And the bitch left me outside.
I know, right?
Man down.
Well, why should we both get bit?
I know,
Somebody
right?
got to call 911.
He's that friend when the alligator's running, and it's
Oh
like,
my
well, we gotta
gosh.
run faster than
See,
the
but he got
alligator.
me now because you don't have to be the fastest. You just got to be faster than one
Oh my
person.
That's right.
And I
That's-
ain't going to outrun him no
that-
more.
that's
Why do
like-
you think I keep him around?
Like the alligator joke. Well,
Yeah.
I don't have to be faster than you. I just got to be faster
Yeah.
than the alligator.
now,
But,
now, Dave, with one leg, I got a chance. I got a fighter
Brett would
chance.
just push me, I'd fall over, and he'd keep
Right.
going.
you know
Oh
what?
my
That
gosh.
you know what? That's horrible though that she did not see the dog lunging at
And
you.
then she
and
still
then go-
only
and
grabbed
go
it by like
get-
2 fingers.
That's right, Dave.
And
Thank you.
didn't even want to take the dog in the house.
Thank you. I
after
forgot
that.
about that.
Yeah. Anytime somebody comes to deliver anything, or if they'll come in and they'll work on my refrigerator, whatever,
I don't
plumber
trust.
or
The
whatever.
only reason
Oh.
she put the dog up is 'cause Brett looked at her and said,
Thank you.
We're putting the furniture back in the truck if you don't put
if
the
you
dog
don't put
up.
the dog up, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
It was the truth.
Yeah.
I'm shocked at
Yeah.
people, but I shouldn't be.
You know what though? Every dog, and golden retrievers are really sweet, you
Yeah.
guys. I mean, do not have a mean bone in their body, but there is no doubt in my mind that if Blue felt like I was being threatened,
He'd protect you.
he would protect me. Absolutely. I've seen him do it.
Good story. So absolutely true. My father-in-law had Rotties, the most loving, caring, cuddly dogs. Wouldn't harm a flea. People come in and out of his backyard. They never would bark.
Yep.
So he took him to a dog trainer. He always did sets.
Yeah.
So he took him to a dog trainer. He says, I forget the dog's name. Rolex. He says, Rolex he's a puppy. He's not gonna bite. And that guy says, no. He says, I would like to train him to be a little more aggressive, a little more assertive. He goes, the trainer's like, you don't need to train that dog a thing. He goes, no, you don't understand. He licks everybody. He doesn't. You don't need to train. He said, sir, grab hold of that. He said, sir, grab hold of the collar of your dog. And so Don, my father-in-law, grabs it 2-fingered. I think he said 3-fingered. He said, no, I need you to grab hold of it. Grab hold of the whole hand. No, both hands. So he grabbed hold of that dog's collar, both hands. He's a full-grown Rottie, and he lunged at Mimi, Don's wife, and grabbed her by the arms and just made a loud noise. That dog went wild.
Lost it.
Trying to eat that trainer up. The guy looked at him as he's walking out of the room. You don't need to train that dog. He's good.
Yep.
And he went home.
Yep.
And that dog licked everybody, but Don knew that.
Yep.
So
I was sitting at the vet one time. Blue was, and I named him Blue because I love the blues. That's my favorite genre of music. So I was, when he was a puppy, and I'd put on the blues, and puppies would all go. I had 11 puppies, and they'd all go to sleep. And I remember grabbing Blue, and I would sing to him, and he started singing to me, and he would, So I said, okay, we're gonna name him Blue.
And you weren't getting rid of him.
And he howls to this day. He sounds like a hound dog. But we were at the vet, and he was only like, maybe 10 weeks old, 3 months. He was a little puppy. And this lady walked in, and she had a bulldog. I mean, the bulldog.
Yeah.
I mean, spike collar, and just looked like he could just eat you. And Blue sitting there, golden retriever puppy, like maybe 3 months old. And I'm sitting there, and that bulldog walked in like he owned the room, right? And Blue looks over at me, and he looks at that dog, and Blue goes, and starts, like I never heard this come out of this puppy before. I mean, this was a mean growl. And I looked at that puppy, and I looked at that lady who walked in with the bulldog, and this lady just cracks up laughing, and I'm laughing too. I'm like, he don't mean it, oh my God.
it's just mommy.
And that lady looked at me. She said, don't you ever reprimand him for that, because he's protecting you.
Yep.
And she said, that's a good dog. And she walked by, she said, that's a good puppy.
Yep.
But yeah, I think Blue, out of all of them, Blue would probably be the protector.
Have you seen the one video where the guy has cut eyes out for the dog and the nose?
In the fence?
Yeah, and so the dogs run around the fence, and all of a sudden they put their noses. You've got to do that with your dogs. And so he would.
Can you imagine 5 of them at Becky's all
he had
looking
them.
through?
Yeah.
I think he had like 3 or 4 of them where he had 2 sets of eyes and nose, and every one of them would run and put their eye, and all of a sudden you see all these eyes, and they'd run the other side, and their nose and eyes. It is freaking hilarious.
That is so cute. Yeah, I've seen it. I have seen it.
I love those videos.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I love my babies. They are, they're my babies.
Did you start breeding dogs during those 10 years, or were you doing it at 35 years? So you were doing it even when you were working.
My second set of Goldens, we had the same situation, Max and Scarlett, and they got pregnant. So I had a litter like 20 years ago.
Right.
We sold all the puppies, and we didn't keep any of the puppies. Then we just kept, the male and female. And with this group, it was an accident, and I wasn't home, and my mom was there watching the dogs.
Boys just doing what boys do.
Imagine that.
Oh.
Parents weren't home.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Stop right here. Parents not home. They leave them with grandma.
Poor grandma. Yeah. I was like, Mom. And she's like, I didn't see them. They snuck over there behind the, and
Underneath the bleachers.
Yeah. Love story.
Oh, my gosh.
So she had 11 puppies.
Your dog's a hoe. Your dog just gave it up.
Yeah. But you know what? It was, they're like married now. So we like.
Do you really see that?
Yeah.
Do
like Boomer and, yes.
They touch noses and all that?
Absolutely.
Come on.
I could show you pictures right now where that dog laid down with Buffy before she had them puppies, and even during the whole when she had that male dog, the father would get in the playpen and lay down with her and them puppies.
Aw.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a hierarchy when you have multiple dogs like that, and there's a pack. It's a pack mentality, and Bella, of course, runs the pack, but but Boomer and Buffy absolutely. And it's so funny because I don't see Boomer trying to, go and hump the other girl dogs. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely
He's a one dog humper.
He's a one dog humper. Oh God, he's a one dog humper.
All right, let me tell you something. Do you have cameras at your house?
I don't.
He's wearing every one of them girls out.
No, he doesn't.
Let me tell you
No,
something.
no,
He's
he
a
doesn't.
dog.
No, he doesn't.
You send Boomer on the street, he will come find him a little chihuahua somewhere.
No, he won't.
Destroy
No.
her.
He is absolutely in love with Buffy.
I don't want to violate your sweet vision of that dog, but you do realize that 2 days after you die, they begin to eat you.
No, no. This is what he
cats.
told.
No, cats begin to eat you within the hours. Dogs wait a couple days, maybe a week, and then they'll begin to eat you.
That's ridiculous.
I know. Boomer's gonna not.
You are crazy. My
Dave?
dogs wouldn't.
No, that's
Dave.
a very true
No,
statement.
Dave. Listen to me.
no,
We're
that's
on a
crazy.
podcast. You have a computer, so we get to. Oh, hang on a second. You're right, Dave. Hang on
You're
a second.
talking about wild dogs, not domesticated dogs. Do not eat humans after 1 week.
Dave.
That's the bullshit meter.
First time ever used. Oh my gosh, I've been dying to use that thing, but it had to be authentic.
Yeah.
Watch, we're getting each other bullshit. We'll get to that in a second. So 10 years go by. You get the itch again, or just?
I just, I'm always, even when I stayed home for 10 years, I've always been busy doing something. I'm like my grandma Barfield.
Did
She
you do
always-
events and everything? Did you ever get into that?
I-
Because you have that ability. You did it like that here.
I did it at my house.
Okay.
So,
So you always had events.
all the time.
You and Patrick were always having people over. And,
Well, Pat could care less if anybody comes over to the house
Right.
ever.
right.
That's just Pat.
Right.
It was me.
Right.
I'd bring people over, but I was always having Halloween parties, and then I'd have spring parties. And
Why are
then
you
I'd
so
do-
festive?
I don't know.
Was your mom festive? Did she do every season?
No, I'm not quite sure where I got it.
Anybody in your
Well,
family?
Okay, wait a minute. Now, when I was growing up,
See, this is what I love.
everybody was always at my house growing up. My uncles, my aunts, my mom cooked, everybody brought food, and we were always a very close-knit family. So there was always people around all the time.
So you were. So
Yeah.
So your family was big.
Yeah, pretty big here
Yeah,
in Jacksonville. Yeah.
And I've seen you work through a lot with family. We're not going to go too deep in this, but I have a brother. I have struggles. I have a sister who is a freaking angel, and then you got me somewhere in the middle that likes to do all kinds of stupid things in business and try things and push the envelope, good and bad, in my life, and that's been my journey, and it's been a fun journey. But with you, how do you know your boundaries?
I probably don't.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
I probably don't. I struggle with boundaries. Absolutely.
You don't like people setting boundaries on you.
I don't.
Yeah.
No. But I also, and I guess it's now that I'm getting older, I'm learning, I had a situation last week where I stood up and said, no, I'm not doing this. Where 10 years ago, I would have absolutely
People pleaser.
I would have dealt with whatever it was that I was going through. I would have said, I'm going to deal with it. And now I'm 56 years old. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with that. And I stood my ground and said, I'm just not going to do that.
But you know what? There's a lot of 56-year-olds that haven't learned that yet.
Yeah.
And so, I'm 54. But there's some things about me that are absolutely childish. I mean, I can get my feelings hurt so quickly.
Yeah.
And where does all that come from? I mean, I'm a people pleaser. I love, in my businesses, I hate when people leave mad.
Yeah.
And I've had some leave.
Yeah.
I've had some ugly exits,
Yeah.
some ugly competitors.
Yeah.
and it'll open up an ugly spot if you allow it.
Yeah.
But for me, what helps me is I don't have to get involved in every fight that I'm invited to.
Yeah.
That's been new for me.
Yeah.
And that's been a new journey for me just probably the last 3 or 4 years. And it was told to me by a mentor, and I forgot it. And it was by a female. And I forgot it, didn't forget it, but I didn't really start applying it early on. But it rolled in my head. And recently, the last few years, I've been attempting it, and it's working.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting better and better and quicker and quicker at it.
Absolutely.
Like you do in anything.
Pick your battles. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I don't have to let people rent space in my head.
Yeah.
What someone else intends for me does not have to be. I love, Deion. I'm not a big Deion Sanders fan, but I do love that one quote where he says, "What makes you think that," I'm going to paraphrase it and butcher it, but what makes you think that I care what you think? Yeah, that's not how it goes. Hang on, give me a second. What makes you think that I would care what you think about how I do it? Basically, is what he's saying. He says, I don't. And I didn't know how to be there.
Yeah.
I was a people pleaser.
Yes. Yeah.
So I searched early on in my life. Was it because I was a middle kid? Was it because I was this? And I don't know that I have an answer just yet.
Yeah.
I think that's what a little bit of this journey is for me personally, is to figure out, I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses. My biggest weakness is my tongue.
Absolutely.
It lashes. When I'm hurt, you're going to hurt.
Yeah.
And it's sort of funny, interesting that it's biblical, talking about what the greatest weapon, that could be misused is your tongue.
Absolutely.
And an unbridled tongue is what the Bible calls it. And I struggle with that.
Yeah.
Because I want so bad to help, and I become a director. If they'll just listen, I can help, and it's been fun to have people like you, because you came in and you had a vision, and it's been enjoyable to get behind somebody and not have to be the leader and not have to come up with the ideas, just be the guy that pulls your stuff down from the attic. You don't even let me assemble it.
Right.
So, which I think you need to get a little better at letting people help you. I'm just saying. So, where does that come from? Was your mama do it herself?
No, I don't think so. No, my dad was always kind of the domineering of the two.
I think it's life experience can do it for me too. I mean, I have to be careful, because if somebody won't do something exactly how I want it, it's so easy to grab something.
Yeah.
But often their way can be even better.
I love this thing came across my Facebook the other day, and it says, "Why doesn't anybody help me?" And then you're screaming, I need help. And then somebody shows up and you're like, no, you're doing it all wrong.
Yep.
Let me do it.
Yep.
Just leave me alone and let me do it.
I have done that.
And I have said that so many times. It's just let it. Even now, I find myself, even in my personal life or in my business life, it's I will do it.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. I will get to it. One, because I know that it's going to get done correctly.
Yeah.
And also, I think that comes from my nursing also. I mean, you have got to, your decision is sometimes life altering.
Yeah.
Sometimes is the difference between life and death.
Yep.
And the judgment call that you make. So you can't really rely on somebody to come in and save you. You've got to be, you're making decisions, and you got to stand by those decisions.
Yeah.
And I don't want somebody else coming in and making those. And I don't know. I want it done right. I want to make sure there's no mistakes. I want to make sure that I got a little.
But you have an employee.
No, she's not really considered an employee.
Well, whatever you would call her, she comes in here and does what you ask her to do.
Yeah. And I give her free reign in the boutique. I let her go play and do what she wants to do, because I want to see her creativity.
So you and I have talked about this off camera. For me, I have to train people to be able to do what I do. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I always have to be here, which means I can't grow.
Right.
And so as I grow, and I was sort of blessed early on in my life, because I was running a lot of stores, and you can't get to 50 stores in 30 days in a month. You can't get to one. I mean, I was getting to one every 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And yet you could walk in there in between the 4 weeks. And I know you bust my chops about systems, and I know I drive Mary crazy with systems, and it's taken Dave a little while to learn it, but it's been fun to watch Dave experience the frustrations without the system in place, and it's sitting right there. And even when you have it written down, you can delegate the task. You cannot delegate the responsibility.
Right.
And so how to balance checking up on grown men that you respect and allowing them to make mistakes and learn, it takes time. And it can be frustrating for somebody who knows I can help him avoid that.
Yeah.
But the best way to learn sometimes is to fall, realize how frustrating it is, and then watch the system get implemented, watch how simple it falls in place.
Yeah.
And now they get to make a choice.
Yeah.
And if they don't make the right choice, then you start putting other people in place.
Yeah.
Did you fire a lot of people?
Yes.
Yeah. Were you a cold, just you out?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Especially if they were rude.
Yes.
Yeah, disrespect is big for you.
Yes.
Yeah. Me too.
Yes.
Okay.
Real quick,
Go.
just so Becky knows, because we were talking about it. Dogs will start to eat you within hours after you're dead, even if they have food in their bowl, because they consider you nothing but a food source.
Not my dogs.
Cats will start eating you while you're unconscious before you die.
Gotta love animals.
No, my
You
dogs
think
wouldn't.
Boomer's gonna come up and
My
just
dogs
lay
wouldn't do
beside
that.
you?
Yeah. My dogs would
Well,
never.
day one he might, and then day two he ain't got no food.
No.
And there you sit. You get
Yeah,
to
but
smelling
you
all
guys,
purty.
You guys, this is such a hypothetical situation. This is talking about me dying
Yeah.
and my dead body
Yeah.
laying in the grass outside
Yeah.
in my
A
backyard.
little morbid.
And then my dogs have absolutely no food to
No
eat
food.
for weeks.
Patrick's
on
in
end.
France.
And then, I mean, come on, guys. This is so
Patrick's in France and
Yeah.
Brandon's in California.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, this is such a hypothetical situation. I mean, where did they get their data from?
Well, they
Did
pulled up
somebody-
and they walked in, and a dog was eating somebody, I
mean,
guess.
come on, give me a break. I mean, where did that come from?
It's on the internet. Of course it's true.
It's true, right? I mean, for them to
Okay.
do that study, I mean, somebody would have to die,
Right.
and then a domesticated dog would have to start eating that human within day. I mean, come on.
I think they start licking first.
Do they? It's so
And then the
crazy.
salt's there, and then
Oh, God.
then maybe they just sit beside you and they just sort of nibble on your ear a little
You know
bit.
what? I don't believe that because
You don't believe Boomer will eat you.
Absolutely not.
Okay, I think Boomer eats you for a snack. I think he starts on the heel.
You know what? This is so wrong because do you know that dogs, do you know their sense of smell? That's how they know you, is your sense of smell. Y'all no.
She's going to go home and stare at Boomer.
No, I'm
It's a
not.
good thing you don't drink. She'd be drinking, looking at Boomer. Would you eat me,
Would
you son of a
you eat
bitch?
me with No.
This
I'm
is
going to go
from-
and make sure he eats
Hang on,
like,
listen. Here's where the data
It's from Yahoo to Big Think to Science, AAAS to Daily Star to What Your Cats Want to
It's a known fact.
Psychology.
It's a known fact.
Psychology Today.
Psychology Today did an article on domesticated dogs.
Dave,
eating-
throw it up.
If you died alone,
No,
would your
Dave.
cat-
Dave, throw it up on the screen, Bubba, and that way we can see it, and all the
I am
4 people that watch this can see it.
Absolutely do not agree with this study at all. I think if you know how the internet is, if you
I'm loving this. It's killing her that Boomer's going to eat her.
No, this absolutely would not happen in my house. No, it wouldn't. No.
Excuse me.
You
I just
know-
got Bella. I got a visual of Bella nibbling on her
my
calf.
I know, right?
It's-
No.
This is morbid.
You
You
know-
like scary movies. This is part of it.
That is
This is like
absolutely-
zombie kind of.
You know what?
You got it yet, Dave?
Do y'all ever watch the dog movies like White Fang and
I watched Cujo.
not Cujo, not a horror movie, but have you seen the one with the dog Buck and he
The fun ones?
yeah.
No, I don't watch. No, I watched Old Yeller and I was done. He died.
Yeah, that was a sad one.
That was a sad one.
It was. Old Yeller wouldn't have ate that little boy.
That's okay. Okay, we'll get off the dogs, Dad.
Yeah,
Dave.
because you're making me mad, and I'm gonna come and punch you.
Oh my gosh, Boomer! I am so sorry for what's coming.
No.
I think what will help you is if you go home and you have a little talk with him,
Yeah,
because he understands you.
yeah, he does.
I think you sit down, maybe you feed him a little raw meat,
Yeah.
and every time he eats it, you slap him.
Yeah, I know, right? How about I just give him extra dog food, fatten him up to where he.
I
won't
would
wanna-
have. Here's what I would do. As I get older, I'm going to have me an automatic dog feeder
Yeah.
that is going to kick out food. For a matter of fact, I'll have 2 of them. One of them will set a timer that'll start 30 days. I won't know when I'm going to die, though. I'll just keep one full that'll go for 30 days. And if I don't have anybody in my life that'll find me within 30 days of death,
Yeah.
just gnaw away, buddy.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Get rid of me.
Why not let Hagen and me be part of Coda?
Duh.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're done with that. I did not know cats go first. You're unconscious and they're on you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is crazy.
Dude, cats are demonic.
Cats are
demonic.
scavengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're demonic.
Yeah.
I know some viewers one day will hate that, but I stand by what I say. They don't come when you call them. They don't fetch. They knock things over. They fight.
You've never had the love of a cat.
You can't come near them. They're like snobby.
You've never had a good cat. Then.
I had
I
one
was
cat. I had one, but one doesn't make a good species.
I've had wonderful cats.
I had
in
one
my
that came
life.
when I would do my finger.
Yes, you haven't had the love of a cat.
No, I don't want a love of a cat.
Oh.
They won't fetch. I can throw a ball.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I'm a dog person too, but I mean, I do have a cat.
I don't. Okay,
They won't fetch, but it's a heck of a fun time
demonic.
with a laser pointer.
Yeah.
Demonic may be a little pushy, but if they're licking and eating you before you're dead, I don't know how you don't call that demonic.
I just no.
Okay, well, we'll get off the cat and dog thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Boomer will never gnaw on your calf while you pass to the light. I will tell you this, my dogs, they won't even think twice. They'll just be lunch.
Yeah.
They'll be waiting for dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no love there. They love me when I grab the dog food, and that's sort of bull crap. Kodo, man, I got so many pictures of that little boy. He jumps up behind me. I've now gotten, now that Sydney's gone, I'll put the blanket over him with like a little bonnet and take pictures.
Yeah.
Send him to my daughter.
He sends me videos this morning of his
Oh, that's right, I
dogs.
did.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's so funny because I wake up in the morning and Blue's like looking, typical commercial where his skin on his face is falling down and he's looking at me like, hey, Mom, are you going to get up? And I'm like, yes, Blue, I'm getting up. Yeah.
At what time? 5 in the morning?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get off the dogs, but you can talk about Boomer and them forever. We're going to have a whole session about like dogs.
Oh, I love my dogs.
I know. Dogs are cool.
Yeah, I love my dogs.
Yeah. I love the looks they give, the little scary looks when they're not really scared, especially labs and them. They have those goofy looks.
Yeah.
So you spend 10 years out and you decide to get back in, just wanted to do something, and boutique comes across your mind?
No, not at all. I decorate, and I've been decorating my houses, and so I started making wreaths, and I was like, and everybody that comes into my house,
Because that's how I met you.
yeah.
Wreaths.
Well, you asked me what got me out of the house.
There you go.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to start making wreaths and see if anybody wants to buy them. Are they good enough for people to buy? And so I started making wreaths, and I started making my way through Orange Park, and I was like, well, I'm going to go talk to a few people, and nobody had any interest in my wreaths at all. They said they're beautiful, but we don't want to put them in our store. One, because
They're expensive.
They're expensive.
Well,
They
you
are
use quality
expensive.
products.
I absolutely do. And the other one was if it was in competition with what they had in their store,
Gotcha.
they didn't want to put my stuff in their store and take away their bread
Revenue.
and butter,
Yeah.
right? So I understood, and I was on my way home, and I stopped here. And I said, you know what? I'm going to try one more place before I go home, because I was ready to just be.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had a good life. I
Yeah.
mean, I play with my dogs and stay by the swimming pool, and
God wanted you here.
I just said, you know what? I'm going to go one more place. So I stopped in here, and you were here that day.
Yep.
which was unusual because
Yep.
you kind of come in and go.
Yep.
But you were here that day, and I showed you my wreath, and you were like, hey, those are awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Put them in here. Yeah, we'll put them in here. And then I started putting the wreaths in.
And you started selling them too.
And I started selling them. Yeah, they went pretty good. So, and then you and I started talking about,
We had somebody in here
clothing.
that did T-shirts and everything.
yeah, and you said, and I told you,
I called it a boutique because I was looking for a boutique. So I was building that to be the best. She had 3 pairs, and God bless her. There's nothing wrong with this. I'm sure she does well, but I was wanting a boutique.
Yeah.
And we just didn't
Because
have
we
it.
had 2 before Becky.
Yeah, I tried a couple.
Yeah.
And one was okay, but just couldn't stay up with the times. The other was more just T-shirt and jeans. It was good stuff, but it just wasn't a boutique.
Yeah.
Where you could go. But you had done consignment before?
I had at the end when I was running the nursing agency, I opened a boutique over on Park Avenue, local family here in Orange Park, and she let me rent some of the space in the back of her building, and I opened it and I loved it, and I started getting customers, and then I had a disagreement with the owner. And she was a good businesswoman.
I tell you, them owners, boy, I tell you.
I know, right?
Jeez.
So
Bunch of narcissist assholes.
so you pick your battles, right?
Exactly.
So and she just, she would not. I kind of consider myself artsy, in my decorating. If you've seen my decorating, I'm
Over the top,
I'm
in a good way.
I'm over the top, and and she just would not let me do what I wanted to
Be
do.
you.
Yes. Yeah. She wanted to have her thumb on me. And I couldn't deal with it. And so I just said, you know what? I don't really need to be here. So I'm going to close down the shop. And I didn't think any more about it.
How many years was that? So that was almost 10 years before you got back in. Then you got in here.
It was longer than that. Yeah. 10, 11, 12 years maybe.
Okay.
And then, so I was still running the nursing agency and doing the consignment store at the same time, which was difficult.
Oh, yeah.
It was difficult because the running the agency was my
Your bread and butter. Yeah.
and was very time consuming. And so I was trying to do both, and then the owner of the building was not letting me do what I wanted to do, and it wasn't a hard decision. I was
You weren't
just
having
like,
fun.
No, I wasn't having fun. And so I said, okay, I'm just going to close it down. And I just kept the nursing agency, which was plenty, was plenty. But, when you're doing something that you love, I love nursing and I love, doing home health, but there's a creative side that I wanted to
Because you get to sit back there and do your wreaths, and you get to talk to people.
Absolutely.
And meet people and help them design. And I mean, you actually have gotten into consulting where like they're going on trips and you'll do a whole.
Absolutely.
Which I think is smart. So
Yeah.
you'll do like a whole, help me,
Yeah.
use the right words. You do a whole clothing lineup for them.
Yeah, like a personal,
Personal shopper.
Yeah,
There you
like
go.
a
Thank you.
personal shopper. Well, when a lady comes in and she says to me, I'm going on a cruise, and this is where and my OCD kicks in.
Yeah.
Because I tune in, and it helped me with my nursing too. And my counselor, I did go to counseling for my OCD for a long time, but I actually had a doctor look at me one time, and he said, Becky, you want your neurologist or your brain surgeon to have OCD, don't you? And I looked at him and I said, yes, I do.
Yep.
Yes, I do. And so it kind of helped me, kind of navigate through that my OCD. But I tune in to people and
Does it come back? I'm going to stick on the OCD just for a second. Does it come back even at this age?
I have never lost it.
I mean, are you like a tapper kind of like you got to touch something so many times kind of OCD, or just the way something's done and the process in which it's done?
Probably that. I'm not one of those people that I gotta, leave the house. Is the coffee pot on or off, and I gotta go back 15 times? No, I don't have that kind of OCD. But I do have OCD, like if I'm decorating or if I'm dealing with a situation, it has to be, there's no T's are gonna be left uncrossed.
You have to finish that before you can quit.
Yes.
You can't stop until you're. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it has to be done correctly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just like if I do something I don't like, I'll tear it apart and do it again.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay.
Yeah, drives me crazy.
It drives people crazy.
Yeah.
But it drives me crazy too. But
what drives me crazy is you don't tell me so that I'm prepared when I walk in. It doesn't drive me crazy. You take it down.
Yeah.
It's OCD.
Yeah.
My brain. I know the way the store's laid out, and you know me and merchandising and what's it called, Dave? Floor
integrity.
Look at you. Y'all are getting so good at it. And how many people do you hear talking about it?
Yep.
So, merchandising in our industry, in your space, the flow of traffic is crucial.
Yeah.
95% of all customers turn to the right.
Yep.
In your store, watch which way they go. They go right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I'll help some of my competitors out there. So when you lay out your store, you should be laying it out with just the way that a supermarket does.
Yeah.
They put the milk in the back and the bread in the back, and
Right.
Your jewelries, and the way that you have merchandised your space is impeccable. So I'm curious, who taught you all the different ebb and flow? I mean, did you just study magazines and?
No, it just came naturally.
Because the tables, your displays on the tables and everything.
Yeah, I just come naturally. I mean, I didn't go to any kind of a school to learn that, or
I guess playing around at the first boutique helped.
Yeah, maybe a little.
Were you
bit.
as good of a merchandiser then as you?
No.
Yeah, so you learn as you go.
Yeah, and I'm older now.
Yeah,
I'm older now, and I have more space. But it's, I don't know. I think that's where the artsy comes in. I don't want it to look like merchandising. I want it to look fun.
Do you have fear of failure back there?
Of course.
If it fails, what do you do? I mean, how does that impact you?
I don't know.
Do you
yet.
think about it?
Of course.
Yeah, I don't think about failure much.
Of course I do. I think about it. I don't know. It hasn't failed yet, so I just keep going.
Yeah.
It hasn't.
Well, you're
failed.
making pretty good sales.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
Boutiques.
You're what? You're a year in now?
Almost. February would be a year.
So it hadn't even been a year.
No.
Yeah, you've got good sales in.
Yeah.
Percentage-wise, I wasn't where you were. Now, early on, we had the huge uptick.
Mm-hmm.
Then the economy shifted, and we had a little downtick to it.
Yeah.
And then we've popped again. So it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
But it does take any business, the old sleep, creep, leap, mentality, that 3-year, you've gone faster.
Yeah.
What do you think is the secret to your traffic base? Because sometimes we'll have traffic, we do traffic counts and everything. We'll have traffic in here, and you'll have beaten our traffic for our store just in your store alone.
Yeah. You know what? I think in the boutique, it's returning customers and word
but
of
you got to
mouth.
get them to come back. How?
Right.
How do you do that?
Customer service.
So how? Like, give me something you do that you take pride in.
You know what? This is and I love the clothes.
Right.
In my boutique, I love them. I'm a
Right.
clothes girl.
Right.
But the biggest thing for me is when the ladies come into the boutique and we become friends.
Remember the wedding girl, that one girl in that, because I am not around all the time, but that's why I always dive back there.
Yeah.
That one girl, I remember she had a wedding dress on, and when she put it on, it fit her to a T, and she came around the corner,
Yeah.
and I saw her face.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've seen it in furniture, and I've seen it in roofing, and a lot of other businesses, and in sports, but I've never seen it in clothing. When I got to see her face,
It's amazing.
yeah,
You know what?
she had found the perfect dress at a great price,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
but then you did something I'm not sure you're even aware you do.
What?
And this is what I believe makes good great, is once someone is satisfied, you're not done adding value to the product that they buy.
Right.
Through your presentation, through the way you carry yourself, through the way as the owner of Be Bella Boutique, but also in how you stand behind what you do, the way you speak with people. I mean, customer service. But people throw out customer service so much. Dave and I have talked about this. Hey, how you doing? Can I answer any questions for you? If so, just let me know. I'm right here.
Mm-hmm.
And they think that they're in sales.
That's not
sales. That's
not-
order taking.
It's not customer service.
It's not. And I'm not here to preach at other people. If it works in your business, God bless you. I don't know how some people stay in business.
Yeah.
I mean, they just sit there. A customer comes in and they just sit. They don't talk to them.
Yeah.
You know, they don't engage. I send secret shoppers into all my stores. I just sent one into the San Jose store yesterday and got impeccable reports.
That's awesome.
And I'm really proud of that. And I texted, well, actually, I didn't even tell Annette. So, Annette, good job.
Good job, Annette.
So,
Good job,
very
Annette.
pleasant. But there's, you know, even here, I mean, like people that rent spaces, they can leave so quickly in this industry. And so the re-plugging in your clothes, if you don't keep getting people dropping off clothes, then you don't have the inventory to sell.
Right.
And right now you're busting at the seams in a good way.
Yeah.
So you've got the traffic coming in. Is it more your customer service or is it more the social media that you have going on with Jamie Smith?
I want to say both.
I agree both, but I still think Jamie Smith brings them in.
Yeah.
What he does helps you bring people in.
Absolutely. Social media is a big deal.
Right. So you can advertise all day and bring all the people you want in. The question I have, and that's why we are so big on data here, is what's my closing ratio?
Right.
You know, what's my average ticket? You know, but in order to do that, I can tell any of my competitors exactly what I do. I'll write it down on a board for you.
Yeah.
Exactly what I do. You can have my price books. Here's the manufacturers I buy from. Go dive in. You still have to run that program.
Absolutely.
And that's the hard part. And the only way you can do that is with the employees around you. I can't be the only one doing it because, like you said, I'm not here all the time.
Right.
And I mean, and I'm happy for this. You're beginning to take a little more time off here.
Yeah.
And regathering, because I mean you had a push there. That first year was
It's 6 days a week, 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
I mean, she started in February.
Yeah.
Went from a little room to half the big room to the whole big room.
oh my gosh, she didn't.
In
I mean,
8 months.
the minute she got in here,
Yeah.
I remember telling her, I said,
You slow down.
I said no. I told her long before because I have some skills, and I sort of had a peg on Becky by then. I said, now Becky, it's gonna want to bust out of here. But we're going to want to try to hold it back as long as we can. Because the idea was you're hurting so much in here that when you get over there, it just explodes. Oh, yeah, just sweet little Miss Becky over there. Just, oh, yeah, the little Southern Belle. And boom, 3 months in, man. She said, Brett. And so she got half. And then I got ahead of her. And that's what I got ahead of you. I said, okay, so just to let you know, in order to rent the whole space in the back, it would be this. So she never had to ask me again. And that lasted that half.
Not long.
Not long.
Not
it was
long at
it
all.
was tough. I'm glad you did that because it was difficult for Would too to split that and to have the people and then us be back there.
Yeah. It didn't. It definitely took a different look.
Yeah,
when
and now
Because we were pulling people if they were in the boutique. You didn't know if they were from Woodview, and she was pulling people from Woodview over to the boutique.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was not. It worked for the small time we were doing it, but
But you had your eye on that whole building. I mean, the whole back room.
Yeah.
Well, I am proud to have you. I'm proud to know you. A female owner in Clay County is important to me. I have women in my life, and it's, you know, the world's been putting light on females for a while, but it's nice to see people local that have come from nothing and have built up through hard work and the grind that you have and learned what you had and then getting into the boutique and really your creative and artesian world that you get to live in today. And then the social side, it's a perfect business for you.
Yeah. I love it. You know, the secret, I think, for me is those connections that I make with those people who walk in, and like the lady that day in the wedding dress, you didn't know, but she was going through cancer.
I did not know.
You did not know.
And
that.
you do know. And that is why, and Jamie, and it's a needed process. What he does is dynamic work.
Yeah.
But you can bring people in all day. If you're not engaging with them the way you are, you're wasting money advertising.
Yeah.
And I've always said it to people who come in and want me to advertise on this, that, and the other. And I always tell them, listen, if I'm not maximizing the people that are in here right now on my average ticket and all that Dave and all my people I have them studying, then why would I bring more in to only halfway treat them right?
Yeah.
Because then the word of mouth is going to spread in a watered down. I had rather the ones that come in. When we first started, all I focus on is the next customer.
Absolutely.
I want that customer to experience that every day.
Yeah.
And that's it. There is no magic pill.
No.
You have to get up, set your pains and your struggles in life aside, and come in here with a smile.
Absolutely.
That's not easy.
Well, you know what makes it easy for me though is when I do get that one lady that
There it
comes
is.
in and she says, you know, I'm going through a divorce, or my mom just died. I mean, I've had ladies come in and just cry on my shoulder, and because their mother just passed away. And it's more, and this is what I try to tell everybody, it's more than just clothing.
There it is.
It's more than just clothing. It's a sisterhood.
Yep.
You know, and when those ladies come into my
It's a
boutique,
community.
it's a community, absolutely. So
And that's what this next generation is all about. My cryptocurrencies that I do so well with are because I look for ones that have a community of the next generation, and they love to have a purpose behind them.
yeah,
And I think what we've sort of built here, however imperfect it is, has a lot of those elements in it. You know, I think has the people that work here care.
yeah,
We're not perfect. We miss things left and right. You know, our inventory's right. We got a good mix. But it's really the partners that are with us, because I can't do it. I can't do what you do. And we joke and kid,
yeah.
if you ever left, I'm not running around trying to open clothes.
Right.
You know, I wouldn't know what to do. No,
Right.
you know, kid books, something like that. Okay, I can hold on that.
And like I said, it's the clothes are there, but it's not about the clothes.
Yeah. I've always
it-
said that this building is a ministry,
Yeah,
and it's a ministry for me. It
Yeah.
heals me.
yeah,
And I've seen so many come through here. Now, there's been others that have come through here.
yeah,
They don't know it, but they were meant to disrupt.
yeah.
And we won't be disrupted
Right.
because I'm not the one in control.
yeah,
And that'll be explained later down the road someday, but I don't make all the final decisions.
yeah,
You know, my job is to do my part, and then I let the chips fall where they may,
yeah,
and learning to live with them, and then learning to know how to make the right decisions with whatever comes our way.
Mhm.
It's really living life on life's terms.
Right.
And if I get into that ebb and flow of the tides of life, man, it's really a dance.
Yeah,
And I can tell when I'm out of step now,
Yeah.
in my 50s.
yeah, yeah,
However imperfect I am with my tongue and things that I need to develop, my greatest asset is self-reflection.
yeah. Absolutely.
I think my second is I have no issue admitting my faults,
Right.
owning them.
Yeah.
And I don't always fix them, you know, right away, but I can own them.
Yeah.
You know, the biting of my nails. I mean, it's been my whole life, and I had it down to pat. I mean, this is just something I've dealt with my whole life, and I had it down pat before I bought this building. First year I bought this building, man, they were down to nubs.
Yeah.
And it has been 2 years. I think a year ago I told you, I said, I'm getting my nails back.
Yeah.
It's been a year now, and I am just about here where now I have,
Yeah.
I mean, just little stupid stuff
It's
like
little
that.
Stupid stuff. Yeah, but what a milestone
For me,
for you.
and that's where
yeah.
this is what I love about this podcast. I couldn't care less if someone understands what I'm going through and what I'm
Right.
explaining.
Right.
As long as the guests understand
Yeah.
and I understand,
Yeah.
there's a healing part to that.
Yeah.
And there's something special about this building. And I'm not talking about the actual building, because just like a church, it's the people in it that make it.
Absolutely.
And when you've got the right vibe, and it will not always stay the right vibe. There'll be people in here that'll be disruptive and will disagree, and they'll hate me, and I'm this, that, and the other. And, you know, as they write off, you know, paying $170 a month, and they want to tell me how to run a business, you know, that you've got everything and some in on it.
Right.
No, thanks. I'll take my advice over yours,
Yeah.
you know. So,
Yeah.
and having to make those bold choices can really ruffle feathers.
Yeah.
And I love Miss Deanne. I will give her credit till the day I die. And she's a dealer here, and since the beginning. And I did see myself as aggressive. And she told me one day, she said, "Brett, you're not aggressive. You're assertive."
Mm-hmm.
And from that day on, I have been mulling that over, and I'm going, she's right. Because aggressive is like trying to push my agenda on you to do it, versus assertive is that has to be tied to the wall so it doesn't fall on somebody.
Right.
I'm not trying to determine, you know, whether or not. And so learning my boundaries so that he can feel free and not locked up when I walk in the door, you know, is important.
Right.
And it's free to be themselves with customers, you
Yeah.
know, and you've done a wonderful job at that. So to the new business female that's up and coming, she's in her 30s,
Mm-hmm.
has the money to open it, doesn't even have to be clothing. What's that one grit that really keeps you, I mean, on those bad days, Is it that customer? Is it that the one that had cancer that you got to know that you cried with?
For me, yes.
Yeah. Dave used to call me, when we were going San Jose and fighting Books A Million. I mean, what a war, man. And, I was at my wit's end. There was not much left. And I had nowhere else to go but to go, you know what? I can't do this. I got to be able to ride this and then live with it as it falls.
Yeah.
And when I got to that point and realized I couldn't control everything, I don't know, it's freeing.
Yeah.
It was very freeing for me. Do you feel like you can control everything?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that a strength or a weakness, you think?
I think both.
I think so too. I think so. I think it's like anything. In moderation, it's dynamic.
Right.
But whether it be drinking, eating, sex, business, excess of anything is too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, being proud of yourself is a good thing, but letting it turn into an ego is a whole nother game.
Absolutely.
And it is a slippery slope.
Yeah.
I heard a saying recently. I love this saying. You always hear straddling the fence. Yeah. And this man said, "Oh, my friend, maybe you don't know. The devil owns the fence."
Right. Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Oh, I have straddled the fence so many times. Now I see it as from that fence post over is the devil.
Yeah.
I say devil, whatever.
Life.
I am the devil.
Right,
whatever ugly
right.
idea I have that's, selfish and self-centered,
Yeah.
The true devil doesn't even know my name. It takes some one-eyed idiot to trip me up, in his little dominion. So to the 30-year-old that's starting a business, what do you give her? What advice do you give her? She goes, listen, give me 3 things that'll help me in business. And then, go ahead.
Be patient. Don't give up. Have a good support group around you. Somebody you can call.
This is simple, but hang on. I write slow.
He just called me simple, Dave.
No, you don't understand. Simple to me is the most biggest golden in the world. Yeah. When you can take a complex problem and simplify it down. Is that not what teachers do? Yeah. They break down an equation and they simplify it to the most simple form, teach you the basics, and then you build it back up. So when you hang on one second, 'cause I want to finish this because this is you just rattle that off. That is dynamic. If you have patience, I have a sign over my back door that says never, never, never give up. Yep. But that also could be a detriment. When I was an alcoholic, when I was drinking, I never gave up. He's passed out. I can still go. Yeah. I may not remember. But I'll drink toe to toe. Hey, that rhymes.
Brett, take me home. Yeah. As we're driving by my house to the next place.
That happened many a time. Yeah, that happened many times with an idiot.
I drank for about 10 years of my life, and I drank
real heavy. I mean, did you
heavy?
Because we're all or nothing.
And I remember being like that. There would be people passed out, and I was like, "Yo," I was still going, and proud of myself.
But you stopped on your own.
I did.
I hate you people.
Yeah, I did. I
had to break out in handcuffs enough times.
Yeah.
And Judge Collins got tired of seeing me.
Yeah.
And by the grace of God, I didn't wake up one day having fun and wake up and all of a sudden Brandon's dead because I T-boned him.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden I'm not a nice guy anymore. That fun guy,
Yep.
But when you're selfish and self-centered, you don't think about that.
No, you don't.
And I had, to me, I was being careful.
Yeah.
We were 3 minutes from the house.
Right.
We drove old hard road. We never went on the main roads. And, now we did turn the lights off and run 60 miles an hour driving my knee.
Driving with his knee.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
But obviously, did you die?
Not that day.
Do you know, though, as heavy as I drank for those 10 years, I don't ever, I guess I didn't drink it, but I don't know. There were times I drank so much I couldn't talk because I was so drunk. But I never got in the car, and I never lost consciousness.
Freaking normies.
And I'd never not remember the next day what I did, even if I did something really stupid. But I always remember what happened.
Then you never blacked out.
I never drank to the point of blackout.
Yeah, you never blacked out.
No.
Yeah.
I'd puke before I got to that point.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I would just...
Puking wasn't in my regimen. Neither was hangovers.
Oh, God.
I could go till 4 o'clock in the morning, be up at 8 o'clock.
I wouldn't throw up from drinking. I'd throw up because I was full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I would drag Dave back in the back and we'd make pizzas.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
I'd make a mess. Score.
Hey, I
I
remember
spent so much money, y'all let me.
Pat and I would drink until like
Gosh, I
2
don't miss
o'clock
those.
in the morning. And then, of course, you'd get hungry.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, when you drink and drink and drink and drink and drink, and then all of a sudden it hits you, you're like, "Oh, I'm starving.
Well, Brett's
And we would get in the kitchen at 2, the kids would be asleep, and we'd be in the kitchen, and I'd be cooking pancakes or somebody would have an idea, you know, and of course, when you're drunk, it's always
It's
like,
a great idea.
that's a great idea.
It's a great idea.
Let's go
Yep.
do that. You know, so I'm like making lasagna at 2 o'clock in the morning.
It's
and
not going to be
s-
ready till 6.
And so many times we passed out waiting on the food to
Oh
get
my
cooked.
gosh. Lucky you didn't burn the house
Oh,
down.
it's amazing. I didn't burn the house
Were you going
down,
to say
no.
something, Dave?
Brett's biggest, it's a blessing and a devil in disguise. He never got hungover.
Yeah.
That's, I don't
wasn't
understand
a
how that
blessing.
is like physically possible.
I don't know. Well,
Never.
I was an alcoholic.
I know, but
I
still,
don't.
I mean,
man, listen. You could sit me down right now, and I bet you I could put down 15 beers.
Oh,
and,
without a
and double
doubt.
shots of Patron, and I wouldn't miss a beat.
you didn't wake up the next day with a headache and diarrhea and feeling
My
like,
okay, there was one phase. I probably didn't share. Was the Jack Daniels phase
yeah.
where I would be heavy on my head a little bit,
Oh, God.
but blackouts were because my father-in-law's a normal drinker and he drank Jack Daniels, so. If it's good in this cup, what's going to be awesome in a 32-ounce cup?
Right.
Next thing I know, I'm in Fleming Island cutting my grass at night because my lawnmower has a light.
Flipping into the ditch.
Flipping in the
it
ditch. And I was in my mid-30s. I was strong, and so I could literally take my 52-inch cut and throw it out. Not throw it, but pick up the front and get it out of the ditch. Pick up the back. I mean, it's 9 o'clock at night, and I'm cutting my grass with a 32-ounce cup of Jack Daniels, and I think nothing's wrong.
I remember one time,
I don't miss those days.
Pat's mom was visiting, and she brought us a bottle of something called pastis from France. Pastis is, and I hate licorice. I hate it.
So it's
but
like absinthe.
Yes, it tastes like licorice, but it's very strong. I mean,
We used to drink something like that, a licorice drink.
Sambuca.
I don't know. You always knew the words. So go ahead.
But this stuff, it's pastis. In France, that you serve just a little. It's an aperitif. So you just get a little tiny bit of it, and it goes a long way. Well, we've got the whole bottle, and it's the middle of February in Jacksonville. It's cold, and his mother was visiting, and we had an in-ground swimming pool, and Pat and I are out there, and it's 32 degrees outside,
In the pool.
and we're in the pool. We are in the pool drinking this stuff out of the bottle straight, swimming to the, laughing.
Sure.
Swimming to the deep end, throwing stuff in the pool that we got to go dive down and get at the bottom of
Like
the
kids.
deep end, and just going down and just having a blast. And we were so drunk, we didn't feel the cold outside. Now I think about that. When I go outside and it's 32 degrees, and I'm thinking, I cannot believe we were in that swimming pool and we didn't even feel the cold. So, yeah.
No, you're not one of me. You were just a heavy drinker for a little while, like Dave.
Yeah.
Dave stopped, and then no big deal.
Well,
I was never I got to drink. I never had shakes. Never. I was a binge drinker.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go. Now, towards my end, I never went a day without drinking, but there was days where we'd go. I may have a little buzz and we'd go home. But those nights that I was geared up, which as we got further and further along were more and more frequent.
Yeah.
I mean, we partied 6 days a night. I
Yeah.
mean, 6 days a week. Eat 6. I hated Christmas because all the bars were closed.
Yeah.
I hated it. I never drank at home.
Yeah.
I didn't have beer at home. I didn't have anything.
I never do.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was stupid because I spent so much stupid money. But I always enjoyed the atmosphere, and
Yeah.
even if I wasn't involved, just being back there, hanging out with a few people in
Yeah.
what we called the ghetto, and just
Yeah.
having your
Yeah.
crew.
Yeah. I look back on it, and I did have really good
And,
times.
I got great stories.
I mean, we got great stories when we were drinking, and funny stuff and dangerous stuff. And I can't believe we made it through that stuff. But I think the main reason I quit was the doctor told me, I was 30 something, and
Right.
he said, if you don't quit doing these behaviors, you're going to have a heart attack by the time you're 40.
Yeah.
And I was heavy drinking. I was a smoker.
Yeah.
I smoked. I was overweight, you know, and he was like, you know, Becky, I don't see this path. It's not going to end well if you don't make some changes.
When did celiac come in your life?
I was in my 40s.
And explain what celiac is.
Celiac is an
I said it wrong. Celiac.
Celiac is the inability to eat gluten. So my body is allergic to gluten. So if I ingest gluten in any small amount, I get it actually inflames my intestines.
Now, how did that come in after what happened before you were 40?
I was fine.
It just
So
came
it was
out of
late
nowhere?
onset.
Yeah. Same thing happened to me with seafood. I used to love, I grew up.
Is
you
that
know,
normal? I'm just trying to understand celiac.
They're trying.
So they don't know much about it.
Well, now they do. You know, 20 years ago, nobody, you know, you didn't hear about celiac 20 years ago.
Right.
Now everybody's celiac. You know, I have a theory of why people are intolerant to gluten now. I think it's because of the way that they, you know, when
Process it?
Yes, it's GMO. It's genetically modified. The wheat, they cut it before it's full grown. There's a germ. It's in wheat that doesn't get fully mature, and they cut it, and then they make bread out of it and pasta and whatever. And your body doesn't know it's you know there's chemicals in the food that you eat, and your body doesn't know how to process that. You know, I ate flour and pasta and seafood and everything until I was in my 40s, and then one day we were at Red Lobster, and I just had anaphylactic shock. I had to go to the hospital.
Wow.
Because I ate shrimp, and I'd eaten shrimp and lobster, crab legs. I love crab legs all my life.
You're always smelling my food.
I love the smell. You know, I love to smell people's food. They laugh at me.
Freak.
I know, you're a freak. Why are you smelling my food, girl? Get out of here. But because you know how when you smell something, it brings a memory. So when I smell like chocolate cake, I can almost taste it. It's almost a taste. And
So what can you eat now?
Corn chips.
How do you
chips.
get away with corn chips? Because it doesn't have...
Listen, and it's a potato chip, right? So it's not good for you, and it's my one downfall that I cheat. It's my one cheat food that I eat. But if you look on the back of a corn chip bag, it only has corn, oil, and salt. There's only 3 ingredients in it. If you look on the back of a Doritos bag
In America.
in America,
In France, it's different.
it is. In Europe,
Crazy.
it's different. Yes. Yeah.
How did what are we doing that we allow our country, the FDA is not our freaking friend?
No, it's not. I'm so glad that the Trump.
He's going to be awesome.
He's going to be awesome. And he's going after the cereal companies first. And then
Okay, I want to get on Trump. Before you get there, real quick, if somebody has celiac and needs information, is there a website or anything?
Absolutely.
I mean, do you know it off the top of your head or not?
Celiac.com.
Okay.
I mean, you can
Well,
go
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
You can go or just Google celiac and you'll get, go down the rabbit hole and they'll pull up all kinds of things about celiac.
But you can live happy with celiac.
I can live happy. I mean, I miss things. They do have like gluten-free food.
Right.
Now. It's all over the place.
Right.
Gluten-free bread, gluten-free pasta. It tastes
like the cauliflower rice. Can you eat that?
No.
Okay, because you don't like it. It doesn't taste good.
I like cauliflower, but I don't particularly like making a crust out of it.
Right.
But I just kind of stick to. I have like and it took me a couple years after I got diagnosed to figure out what my body likes and what it don't.
Right.
So I have a set amount of food that I like that I eat. I like steak and baked potato, sweet potatoes. I eat a lot of different food, but I'm more of a meat and potato girl now.
Right.
Yeah, just leave the pasta and the bread alone.
Right. That's true. There's that one. I mean, the carnivore diet's gearing up again. Everybody's doing just the meat only, and showing how they lose weight and get leaner. And we put so much processed. I put so much processed foods in me. Yeah. I've gotten better about it, but all my weight loss has been just through pure negative calorie intake.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just eat less than I burn.
more than you eat. Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm eating healthy, but
Right.
I was able to lose over 100 pounds. Well,
Yeah.
around about 100 pounds, and I've put some muscle on since then. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna give her a moment, Dave.
Okay.
Trump.
I love Trump.
Have at it. Tell us why you love Trump.
I'm a Trump girl.
I mean, do you just love the whole cult thing? What is this?
It's a cult. No, we're not. We're not. In
I'm
a
not
cult.
against. I'm not against Trump, anyways. Oh goodness, I let it fall. You don't think it's a cult?
Absolutely not. No, we're not a cult. I think.
Does he stand for something more than just what he is? Doesn't he stand for the old America, or what we consider the America we want?
Absolutely.
And that's what I think is so resonating about him. But how do you? I mean, I voted for him, but how are you? They didn't give me any options. I mean, it was him or Kamala. It was pretty easy for me,
Right.
for what I'm looking for. But how do you make sense with the 1980s Trump and today's Trump?
I think, like with everybody, you learn, right? You did the job for 4 years. You learned. I think he learned. I think he's more gracious now. I think he watches.
He is coming in a little bit softer,
He's
isn't he?
coming in a
I
little
did
bit.
notice that.
Yeah, I think he learned. I think Trump.
Because I thought he was going to do what Reagan did. You know, Reagan was able to reach across the aisle. He was the first guy that gave me my red, white, and blue. Love him.
I think Trump will too this time. I do.
Well, I think he's setting up for his sons.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a dynasty right here. If he does it right,
Yeah.
what I would love to see is Ivanka.
Yeah.
I mean, the first female
Yeah.
president, that is one of the most classy females.
she's
the way she carries. Now, I don't know her personally. What's that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I thought you said something. I don't know her personally or anything,
Yeah.
but I mean, she just carries herself,
Yeah.
and she's very intelligent.
Yeah.
Her husband, I don't know anything about him. I mean, everybody's talking. He's really the mover and shaker behind a lot of that. But
Yeah.
it's been fun to watch his sons grow up. I think his sons will be a better version than he is.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because he has a. I'm not a psychologist, but it appears to me he has like a not low self-esteem, but if you challenge him, he's going to come.
Yeah.
He will fight 5 different wars at the same time. He doesn't back up from anybody.
I don't think that's self-esteem when it comes to Trump. I think he's just a very prideful man.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I think, I do. I don't think that's self-esteem.
Is it good pride though? Do you think he's like?
Does Trump have a big ego? Yeah, maybe some people might think that, but I like
But
that.
I mean, if you could pull his wife, I mean, I think I'd have an ego too.
I like that about him. I do. You know what I love about Trump? I love that he loves this country.
He does love this country.
And that's what's appealing to me about Trump.
You know what I think is interesting is just how fast we're able to change the narratives, and we as Americans just allow it. I mean, this man was with the African American community in the 80s, and they loved him.
Yeah.
And now he's the worst thing. He's racist. He's that. He's this.
No,
you know.
I find that I find that a lot of African American people that I know, and even on TV, I find that a lot of African Americans are Trump supporters.
Oh no, I don't disagree with that. I'm talking about the Democratic leaders, the
Oh,
Sharpton, the Al Sharptons that he actually hung out with and
Right.
donated to.
Yeah.
And, Trump's just real.
Yeah, he's
In a lot of ways. Now, in his personal life, I don't know if he is all those things. I don't know. I mean, if he likes those kind of things, I mean, that's him. That's, if we're not going to, I mean, what are we going to do? Get in every president's personal? Yeah, it does. It is their character and all.
Right.
I'm not saying that Trump is like some godly guy. For me, it was a fiscal decision.
Yeah.
And when you're allowing, I don't care what country, Mexico has a far more strict border patrol than America does.
Mm-hmm.
Mexico, go sneak into Mexico. Go try Canada.
Yeah.
You want to get I can't get into Canada.
No.
I can't think
If you have a felony, you don't go in.
I can't think of any
Why don't I have
country
felony?
that has a border that's not secure as the U.S. I mean, you cannot get into.
It's insane.
Yeah, I mean,
So
every
this is-
country has a good most of them have a good border.
And this is going to be interesting to see what happens when he gets in about this deportation, this mass deportation. Because, this whole get to America, have the baby, and it's an American, they're actually talking about doing away with that.
Yeah.
That means if you can make it to the land and give birth, that, I don't know how to make sense of any of this.
Mm-hmm.
I do know this. This country, we're all foreign. I mean, my Irish people, when they came over here, the potato famine drove all of us over here.
Right.
And we went through our own struggles, and America is made up of so many Italian and French and,
Yeah.
Polish,
Well, I'm Cherokee. So
Cherokee,
yeah. Yeah, you want to talk about something dear to my heart is think about the American Indian and what happened to them. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, we come in and took their land and we put them on reservations.
Well,
and
it was really interesting because I took a lot of, you had to take electives in college. So I took African American culture and I took Indian culture.
Wow.
And then I took Japanese culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved, I was the only white guy in the African American culture. That was freaking hilarious. Those are stories in and of themselves because I have a right to be logical and I had questions and I really wanted to learn. And I actually made good grades in that class. But I'm not saying she was crazy about me. But
crush on the teacher.
No, not whatsoever. No, but the Indian culture was understanding that they didn't understand the definition that you could own a piece of land. See, to them that made no sense to them
because they owned the land anyway.
Well, because to them the land wasn't meant to be owned.
Right.
It was the earth's.
Yes.
No one owns a land like the animals. They were hunters gatherers. I mean, they followed the herds of the buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
So they would have to pick up their tents and leave, and go wherever the buffalo went because that's what fed them.
Right.
And they followed them far west, and they'd follow them far as they would hibernate in between. Did you know that there are indigenous Caucasian Indians in Florida? There were back in the 1500s.
You're saying white Indians?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a whole tribe of them.
Yeah.
Well, because no one, like they talk about the Indian. Don't punch me, but this is my opinion. They from what I understand, they talk about indigenous, but in reality, I don't know that there was anybody that was indigenous because there was the Bering Strait right there between Russia before it went underwater, and the Chinese came over, and that's where the Mayans came from. And then the Mayans rolled in, and all of a sudden you got Indians that happen to look like Mayans, and the Mayans came from the Bering Strait. And it's going to be pretty interesting to see how they process all this.
Yeah.
When you go on to the reservations and their land is what you would consider cluttered.
Mm-hmm.
Like dirty, and they have wheelbarrows turned upside down.
Right.
I always thought they were just trashy, and come to find out, it's the value they put on things and their spiritual wall. It was just really interesting to learn the culture that Cherokee have.
Yeah.
But the Trail of Tears and all the ugliness. I mean, to use alcohol, something they didn't know anything about.
Right.
I mean, they helped these Europeans. It was probably one of that and slavery. Are two of the ugliest.
I agree.
But in reality, this country, if you're going to be a leader, you're going to have a lot of ugly times in life.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the bombs that we dropped, I don't know. The Indians and the African Americans for me.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do. I don't know how, but, you dehumanize them.
Yeah.
And there was no respect.
Yeah.
And we came from a world of you take what you want.
Yeah.
The strong survive.
Absolutely.
And the Indians, the indigenous people were, we're here to help.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean they weren't killing each other. I mean,
Right.
The only thing I don't like is they make it out like every tribe is this loving, caring over to the Europeans. And in reality, they're beheading each other. And,
right.
Just like some of the Africans are clubbing the other tribes and dragging them to the slave ships.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was African sailors that would bring the slave ships over and then drop them off to the Spanish, who would then bring them over to North America, and they were in South America long before they got into North America.
Yeah.
And it was the sugarcane factories,
Yeah.
and it actually was a business decision.
Yeah.
And so really, it boils down to greed.
Yeah.
We are willing to, as humans, to hurt animals, to hurt humans, to hurt a different ethnicity, to hurt someone who sees life differently, as long as we can dehumanize them.
Yeah.
And you start looking at the cartoons of the Chinese during World War II, where they made them look like monkeys, and they weren't African American.
Right.
And then you roll into the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and all of a sudden they use the same MO on the African Americans to make them look like monkeys.
Right.
And all it was is to dehumanize them so that they could then go do what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, that was revolutionary for me.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. I would encourage any child to make sure they take at least one, if not two, cultural classes.
Yeah.
You know, 4 semesters at least,
Yeah.
to understand, you know,
Yeah. Our past.
our past.
That's our past.
Or
It's
we're doomed to
ugly,
repeat it.
as ugly as it is.
Yeah.
It is our past.
But as ugly as it is, there's also a lot of beauty.
Yeah.
You know, Trump, when he gets in, I dare say, I'm going to go ahead and call it out. Whatever today is, they're still flying around. Those drones that we're seeing right now, when Trump gets in office, those drones will disappear.
Now, I hope they disappear before he. I
They're
don't
not going
understand
to.
why they're still flying around. I mean, nobody.
Well, some of them are planes, and they're just knuckleheads that don't really know the difference. They
right.
are hard to distinguish.
Yeah.
We had a drone flying near our house recently, and Don Marie was all. I was like, Don, it's just a regular drone.
Right. Right.
But there's absolutely something going on.
Yeah.
And yet for our government to stand in public and say, oh, we don't really know yet.
Yeah. How is that possible?
I mean, that
They
means
don't know, and they also say drones are legal and they can't do anything about it.
Yeah, but why all of a sudden are these mass drones? Some of the people were saying they're as big as cars.
Yeah.
Flying around. I mean, and nobody knows.
Oh, I have relatives up in New Jersey who've seen them. They say they're huge.
They're huge. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
come on. That's not Joe Blow next door that owns that.
No.
You know, he's sitting out there with his little joystick. But
let me say this. If it was not American, there would be planes flying over it and you'd be seeing fighting. That's my opinion. You'd be see warships sitting over there. So for them to say what they're saying, I believe they're testing the American people as much as they were about wearing masks.
Yeah.
Come to find out, the masks had it is proven now. The CDC has said they were worthless.
They were telling
And Dave's
us that,
trying to save his mom. Now, hang on, I want to say, here, I watched Dave go through this fear. He was pissed at people for not wearing masks. Not like he would never say anything. He wasn't that kind of ugly person. He would keep his distance.
Right.
But he'd come talk to me privately. Brett, all right, they don't, they're sick. Now the sickness and taking it home to your mom is one thing.
Right.
But the mask that I would put on, that one that you use when you're fishing, I only did it so they'd let me in certain places. It had no value to it.
No, it didn't.
And then the funny thing was, all these people that wore them below their nose, and I'm going, and they would be
Cover your mouth
or
and
if
let
they
your
wanna-
nose open.
Yeah.
or they want to yell at you for not having a mask, so they pull their mask down so they can yell.
Yeah.
Hey, bozos!
Yeah.
If you're gonna wear a mask, you're not supposed to touch it without sterilized hands. Every time you touch it, it is no good anymore. You're supposed to throw it away and put a new one on if you're really gonna follow the rules.
Come
know
on,
what
you know you're supposed to drive in your car alone with a
Oh my
mask on.
gosh.
I was just going to say, Dave, this drove me absolutely insane when I would drive somewhere and somebody they'd be in their car alone with a mask on.
Yep.
And I was
They're
like,
still doing it today.
I know. I've seen people do it. Oh my God. it's so
Now,
crazy.
some people wear because they have autoimmune issues and they can't get anything.
Right.
But maybe it helps with the other colds. It didn't help with the whatever the virus they said was out. The whatever.
Yeah.
Listen, if it's on The Simpsons,
It's going to happen.
Bubba, they talked about this virus years ago. They
Oh, without a
named the
doubt.
virus. Do you ever watch? Have you ever?
No,
Okay.
I'm not. a
There's so
Simpson
much in
fan.
The Simpsons that they'll talk about 20 years
9/11?
ago, and now
That's
it all
scary.
happens.
9/11,
Yeah.
P. Diddy. I mean, they have prophesied more
Wow.
spot on. I mean, a decade before.
Yeah.
Just interesting stuff like that.
No,
so
I never was a Simpson fan.
it's I don't want to become. It's hard not to put on an aluminum full hat and get a little bit of a conspiracy theory. I sent Dave some stuff. Like, man, look at this one right here, dude. I mean, hello people. We have drones nobody knows.
Yeah.
The biggest cars flying over New Jersey and
Yeah.
Connecticut, and
Yeah.
nobody can respond.
Right. The head of the FBI it doesn't know what they are, where they. I mean,
And all Biden says is, well, we're going to put some more money
we're gonna
towards it and
look-
investigate a
we're
little
gonna
bit more.
Investigate it. Yeah. I know. Unbelievable.
Are you mad that he pardoned his son?
No, because I knew he was going to do it.
I would do it. I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I knew he was going
I don't care how guilty. If I could get my son off,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Without a doubt.
I don't think
Yeah.
anybody wouldn't.
Yeah.
Now, how you sit at dinner, I have children, how you sit at dinner and look across the table with your son that you know you've done illegal stuff with and that you've taught him that world and that you're watching him grow in business like you're watching your son. I get to watch my kids. You get to watch yours. They're growing in that illegal side, how to be slippery and slimy. I don't know how you live with yourself. I know he's a grown man, Hunter is, but I don't know how you live with yourself, knowing all that you know, and all that you've given up. I mean, you sell your country out, So I don't know. I think Trump will clean up some of it. But
I think Trump would have pardoned Hunter. I do. I think that after he gets in and he gets he goes through the
the inauguration, all
thank
that,
you.
yeah.
That he'll. I think he would have pardoned Hunter.
It's interesting. I never even thought about that. I don't follow politics that much.
Yeah.
Anymore. It's just exhausting.
Yeah.
To me, it is a religion to people.
Yeah.
I mean, the people I talk to, and it's always interesting that a lot of the church people and how big they are on Trump, and yet a lot of his lifestyle doesn't tie in with the Bible.
Right.
And so it's just so I ask a lot of people questions. That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, I voted for Trump, and I know why I did. Mine was more fiscal than it was personal.
Though? I mean, Kennedy was an awesome president, right? But everybody knows Kennedy was having an affair with Marilyn Monroe, and God knows who else was in the White House. And I don't condone that, but he was still a good president.
Yeah, and like the one bullet really killed him.
Yeah.
Come on, people.
Yeah.
So
I mean.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to fix it.
I don't think we're going to fix it. But
No.
like I said, the thing that I like the most about Trump is that he loves this country. And that to me that's
I agree.
everything.
It's hard to listen to somebody sit up there and say they love and they respect, and then you watch everything they're doing and all these, and I'm not just picking Biden out. There were people before him, but I mean, for just this presidency and Kamala and all these people coming over and they've done nothing that I know of.
Yeah.
And I mean, the border guard the border's screaming, all the police over there, and and the border towns. And then when the Florida governor began to ship them all over, they got serious.
Yeah.
That was an awesome move.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, DeSantis, he should be running for president as well. I know he did.
He will.
I don't know if he's going to make it now with the Trumps. With Trump getting back in, I think he's at that age where you're playing on the same team Kobe is.
Yeah.
And Kobe's son is now coming up or something. I don't know if he's ever going to get his shot.
Well, I think if Pete doesn't get in, then DeSantis is his next choice. And if he can bring DeSantis in with his cabinet, then I think DeSantis will have a shot.
Well,
but
at least
now let's not throw out J.D. I love J.D. Vance.
Okay,
So
I forgot about him.
I love
so
J.D.
far.
Vance.
I don't know much about him other than the recent, when he was selected and all. But from the Joe Rogan episode to he's just real.
He is.
He will call people out.
He's awesome.
I saw him fight, not physically, but verbally banter with either CNN or MSNBC when he was on there because the lady wouldn't let him finish his conversation.
Yeah.
And the way he handled it was firm,
he's awesome.
but respectful.
He is awesome.
But he will not back down, and he's young.
Yeah.
So if he'll, the problem is you got the bout of the Trumps.
Yeah.
And that cost you something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You have been a wonderful guest.
Thank you.
I have had I know you, but to get a little bit more insight, and then what I enjoy doing before I upload them on Tuesday is to come and watch it on my own. I usually watch about 3 or 4 times, not just for us, but to learn, to get better at what we do, but also get to hear the guests share again. So, because sometimes I'm so focused on making sure we stay on topic that I miss some of it.
Yeah.
I didn't miss much tonight. You're very clear and concise. It's been fun to watch a female version of me in many ways that had a vision and would never quit. You had it, and you just weren't going to let it go.
Yeah.
And then once it's set up, it's fun. That's the fun part for us. And then the grind begins of that daily building your past. And I take a lot away from you as a female business owner, as a business owner, period. So I love your tenacity. There's few that run with me at my pace, and I don't say that with an ego. It's just I have a high motor.
Yeah.
And you have a very high motor.
Yeah.
But you also have a caring side to you that your parents had a major part in. Your father is very proud. And whatever life struggles we all go through, you know, to know that, for me to know that my daughter's sitting here doing this long after me, yeah, I did something right. You can take anything else you want. I did something right. And I take that with my kids. You know, you can take everything else you want from me. My kids, they got grit.
Yeah.
They got grind.
Yeah.
You know, Brandon has that, and I see that, and that's why he and I, you know, click so quick. And we come from two totally different worlds.
Yeah.
We look nothing alike. Actually, we look alike in a little bit, Mama. I just want to let you know.
I know when you sent me the picture.
That
of you
picture, I looked at it, I was like, wait, our nose is like straight. The only difference, if you go look, is the chin. He's got his chin. I got the Blankenship chin, and he's got a little more rounded, like you,
Mommy, yeah.
like Mama. But other than that, we could have gone as cousins.
I know, right?
So
I
cousin
saw the
Brandon.
pictures, and I was like, what?
The minute I saw that, I said, we look a little bit alike.
Yeah.
So
I saw it.
I am proud to know you. I think you're a wonderful testament to a local female business owner, how to do things right. I have seen you snap at people and be a bulldog. This camera won't see this night, but for proper reasons.
Yeah.
And I've also seen you sit back and bite your tongue when you had the right to speak. And that's the journey I'm on, is to get better at that. And I'm proud to know you. So thank you so much for being on All the Grind.
Thank you.
This won't be your last stop. Go Trump. I hope that sales explode for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I'll end with this. You've built something back there that's very unique. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful boutiques, you know, in the local area and outside, but there's something special in there. Not only in the look of it and in the product mix, how you can get that kind of a product mix with just people that are intaking, because there's some you can't take.
Yeah.
There's others you got to go through 50 pieces and you're only taking 6 of them, and you got to get that customer to come back and drop off more stuff, because the next one's going to be that high dollar purse you wanted.
Absolutely.
That's a skill, and that is a daily grind.
Yeah.
That because it can't be done just 1 day, 2 days. It has to be 6 days a week, or if we're open 7.
Yeah.
And you've shown that aptitude in many ways, and so what a pleasure. Thank you so much. Go take care of Boomer. That's going to eat you in a day and a half. Dave, let's get out of here.
I think I'm going to feed him some extra food.
Real quick, if you like us, subscribe, share, like, comment, tell us what you hate.
Yeah.
See you
I
soon.
learned to stay strong. Concrete in the dirt I was raised on.
That was awesome.
Know how to put in work. Grinding all day, you know it's game on.
Go get Boomer.
Running, yeah, we stay alive. Ain't gotta look nowhere else.
Oh, goodness. Did you have a good time?